Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Co-Optional Podcast. Or should I say, the Bane Optional Podcast. Yes, merely adopted the podcast. I was born in it, molded by it. Thanks, Ecstatica, for that one.
What are you talking about, John Bane?
No.
I don't understand.
This is a big show.
Okay, what a terrible way to start a podcast.
I'm so delighted to talk about the video game.
I played video games long before you, Dodger.
You see, that's not an impression. That's you just going R into a protein shaker. Stop it now.
I got a lot of practice doing that when The Grudge came out.
Wait, whoa, God.
What?
That's not quite the same. It's more like
I was The Grudge.
You were the Grudge?
I was The Grudge. And then I learned to love and became a real girl.
we
the
used
grudge
to
that stole Christmas. I remember that.
Her heart grew 3 sizes that day.
Yes.
while we were
hideous problems.
at university living in a house together. There were 4 of us. We were all pretty chicken shit when it came to horror movies, but we'd occasionally, through the power of peer pressure, get each other to watch them to justify our masculinity. And we watched The Grudge at one point, and for the next 2 weeks, because we're all fucking shit scared by it, it was people around corners going, sort of. Yeah, there you go. You can do it better than I can now, yeah. It was like, oh, fuck you.
That just sounds like working in an old folks' home.
It's fairly similar, yeah. And with eventually identical results.
People?
Yeah, well, just like
they're
The
not
Grudge,
listening.
everybody dies.
That's our audience. Our audience is the elderly. They leave us on in nursing homes. That's how we get
True.
most of our views.
Now you warn me. Great.
I'm
Blimey.
so sorry. Yeah.
Just terrifying.
I like Columbo. There we are. That'll sort me with them.
Oh my God, I also like Columbo.
All good-hearted people like
He
Columbo.
just wants to eat that pizza, but the cheese keeps falling off.
But what? One more thing though.
Yes.
Just,
My wife's a
just
big
one more
fan.
thing. My wife's a big fan. That was the other one.
Yeah.
God, I love him.
I
He's
just
so
want to
precious.
point out, I just want to point out, as we joke about old people being our #1 audience, we all then proceed to just talk about Columbo. Show Columbo, a show that hasn't been on in maybe 20 years. I'm just putting it out there.
Look, they brought it back when he was super old, and then he passed away.
Oh, Columbo.
Columbo, I miss you.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, but that Jessica Fletcher, she is a dame. Love her. Solving
She
mysteries.
needs to move though. Hot damn, there's a murder in that town like every couple of days.
They follow her where she goes. She is clearly the murderer. They never
Yeah,
caught
yeah.
her. Ridiculous.
Fuck.
Final episode.
The
final
best
episode.
bait and switch.
Yeah, she's just sharpening a knife like, it all went according to plan. And then she writes a new book.
And
Yeah.
it turns out she was Mrs. Columbo all along.
Oh my God.
My
Choice.
wife's a big fan.
God.
It was her the whole time.
Of murder.
A big fan of murder.
And here I am having no
Cut the
idea what's
cheese
going
pizza.
on, thinking about a touch of frost more so than anything else. Like,
You want to know what we're talking about? Just go to YouTube one day and look up Columbo intro, and that'll
Okay.
pretty much explain everything you need to know.
Good
about
to
Columbo.
know. Yeah, good to know.
Hmm.
Welcome to the Co-Optional Podcast. We do occasionally talk about video games. Our return guests. It's always good to have a return guest because that means that we haven't alienated them too much during the first outing. New York Times best-selling author and purveyor of ratty old couches, Mr. Stuart Ashens. Welcome to the show once again.
Thank you very much, sir.
Always good to have you back.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. I'll go now. Yep, fine.
Bye.
Print
A
it.
curt introduction, indeed. I bought your book and it still stays in my toilet. It's
Oh.
In
You
your
can't
toilet.
get it
not
to
inside
flush.
the
You can
toilet.
go-
No, it won't go down. It's because of the size. Like, it's an unusually sized book. You know, it's wide and square and has a hardback, so it doesn't go down very
The
easily.
reason it's square is because the pages are actually softer than Andrex and more absorbent.
Good to know. That will be very, very useful to know indeed in future, if there's an emergency.
Yep,
It
that's
is
why it's
kind
the
of an
best toilet book
emergency.
ever made.
It's an emergency book, really. It's for when the iPad runs out of batteries. So it's there. You know, it's a replacement for what you had
Just
to
in
do.
case.
Like, you had to go, it's like, oh, damn, I'm out of reading material. So you grab the shampoo and you start reading the ingredients. Like, wow, I did not know it had so many chemicals in it. And you just read it over and over again and you've memorized it by the time at the end. It's like, wow, I feel informed now. You've got to
Your
do
book
something.
Your book is like the canned green beans in a apocalypse bunker. It's there when TV needs
But
it.
extreme emergencies.
Yeah, yeah. But it's not like he wants to read it, but it's there in case he needs to.
It's
right?
also exactly the right height to prop up a wonky table. We
It
thought of
is.
everything.
I did not consider that. That would
Yeah.
be useful. You do, I believe, have another book on the way, as it turns out. This is almost your ebook tour, as it were.
That's it, of this room.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's so nice, I don't want to leave it. As biggest lie I've told recently. Yes, I do. I'm writing a second follow-up, more terrible old games you've probably never heard of. And we're calling it Attack of the Flickering Skeletons, because as a homage to the old Atari 8-bit game, Domain of the Undead, which is
God.
the worst thing since since most other
Since
games
the
on the
Undead.
system, actually.
Domain.
Yeah.
Of
Of
the
the
Undead.
Undead.
Terrible. I cannot imagine.
www.undead.com.
That's applause worthy. That's a good joke.
I think
Very nice.
That's better
That was
than
my
this
only good one.
podcast deserves.
Why on earth did we not have this be a Squarespace episode? Buy your Domain of the Undead at squarespace.com/cooptional. There's your extra value, Squarespace. Please keep sponsoring us. We need your money. Thank you. Welcome to the Co-optional Podcast. We do occasionally talk about video games. Coming on the show, we'll be talking about the games that we have been playing this week. I think we will be trying to avoid more Mass Effect because I think we may have burned that topic out now.
We don't need to talk about it anymore.
I think
They're
we
updating it anyway, so
They
whatever.
are actually, yeah. That is one noteworthy thing that they are fixing several things. They're looking into the lip sync. Thank God. They're looking into some of the movement animation bugs, and they're also, which to me is the biggest change, allowing you to skip the unskippable travel cutscenes. That people were arguing, well, no, they can't skip those because they're hiding loading assets. I'm like, no, they're not. They're blatantly not. So, and they've admitted that they haven't now. So they're going to let you skip that. Thank God. No more wasted time. Also, they're increasing the size of the inventory. Why don't you just get rid of the inventory? Like, why does it even have to have a limit? What's the point?
Can I tell you guys something really amazing? So a few weeks ago, you know that I love Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yes.
Aloy is like my one true
Your
babe.
girl.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that girl. So I went on to the PlayStation store because I saw an ad or maybe it's the PlayStation Twitter account, something they had like, there's a new Aloy shirt and it's fucking dope. And I was like, I'm totally in. So I went online to go buy that. And when I was there, I saw they had the pre-order for this giant fucking Thunderjaw T-Rex robot. And I was like,
Okay.
right up my nerd alley. I want to get that. So I pre-ordered that thing. It all finally arrived yesterday. Pull out the shirt. I'm like, it's everything I've ever wanted. Pull out the box. And I'm like, well, this is suspiciously small. What is that? What is going on here? I look at the side of the box and I swear to God, it says Mass Effect Andromeda model. I'm like, what?
What?
I open it up. It's straight up a Mass Effect Andromeda model of a ship. And I was like, I can't get away from this game. They sent me the wrong thing. A completely, totally wrong thing. And I was like, what? So yeah, I have to return everything in order to get the thing I wanted. That's where Mass Effect ruined everything for me still. I can't fucking Mass Effect. I can't get away.
Look, if it makes you feel any better, go and watch and you're going to be asking me, why the fuck am I talking about this again? Go and watch the SmackDown Women's Championship match at WrestleMania from 2 days ago. The reason you're going to like it, not only that Xavier Woods was cosplaying a Final Fantasy character,
It was amazing looking.
Right.
as were the entire New Day, and they rode down to the ring on this giant tricycle with a chocobo on the front of it, and it was great.
Seriously?
The event was sponsored by Final Fantasy XIV's expansion. I shit you not.
Stormblood?
Yeah,
I can't wait.
So they actually did some stuff. They even referenced it on the commentary, which is amazing.
What?
But
What? Stormblood?
Stormblood?
apparently that's a thing now.
Get the fuck out.
That's what the kids are doing these days.
Get out.
But
Stormblood?
the thing
Get
that you
out.
were like, Jesse, is not
No
that.
more. No.
God damn it. You've
Stop.
ruined everything, Final
Stop
Fantasy.
it.
What you will like is the fact that one of the wrestlers cosplayed as Aloy and wrestled as Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn. Ms. Becky Lynch from
Did
Ireland.
you just tug on your shirt like you wanted to rip it off of yourself?
Hey, I was very close. I was going to just be like, I love you.
Yeah, go watch it. You'll love it. She's a total dork and looks exactly like her. She already had the red hair anyway. It didn't take much effort.
I can't go watch that. I will literally become a stalker and be like, maybe one day she'll love me. No, I can't. I have to build a wall between me and her because it's too real. It's too real.
Oh dear.
Also, shout out to us for saying we weren't going to talk about Mass Effect, but then talking about Mass
We
Effect.
barely did. It was a couple of minutes at most, you know?
If
It's
anything, it was
totally not
only-
Mass Effect.
Good job, future us. You did it.
Oh, man.
Can we just make that a thing from now on? We start every podcast like, you know what? Shout out to us. Shout out to us.
Oh, dear.
Only to ourselves, because we
And
work
nobody
hard.
else. No.
Can I talk about Rainworld?
By all means.
You know what? I'd love to talk about that game too.
Wait, I'm gonna grab my slug cat first. Hold on.
You
Wait,
have a
you have a
slug
slug cat? That's not fair.
What?
Why don't I get a slug cat?
I don't get a slug cat. Why do you have a slug cat? Why do you have a slug cat?
Adult Swim sent me a slug cat.
Oh,
Yay. Okay. So,
Rainworld, yes.
fucking Rainworld.
Uh-huh.
I've been so excited for this game. I feel like I've been waiting forever for this game to come out. The first time that I saw footage of it, I was like, this looks weird and awesome, and I want to play it so badly. The concept of it is that you're a slug cat. It's basically just like a cat from here up, and then the rest of him's a slug, right?
can I? Before we
yes.
jump into this, before
Yes.
we even talk about this, I just want to point out in the future,
Yes.
slug cats. Like, look at the slug. Let's talk about the concept of a slug cat. The slug
Yes.
cat family that you're introduced to in the beginning of this game, they are 4 very, very, as you can see, Snow White characters. Wonderful, super cute, very interesting to look at in a world that is brown and green and rusty and gross and terrible and black. And it's like, on what evolutionary level did these things evolve? Because they would all be killed immediately. They stand out so much in this world because everything else is like black and green and foaming at the mouth and awful. And they're like little tiny, perfect, pristine, little like white slug people. It's like, you would all be dead. There's no way that any of you would have survived this long. It drove me crazy. I was like, how are you so cute and wonderful? And like your little, these perfect little creatures, you would all be dead. There's no way this game would even happen ever. But anyway, you can talk
Anyhow.
about
There'll be no slug cats.
there would
not.
be no
Anyhow.
slug cats. That's all
No
I'm saying.
chance.
Yep. In fact, the
So, yeah.
albino slug cat sounds like an early 80s punk band, so that's worth
It does. More of the progressive
Um,
end of punk, I would say, but getting there, certainly. They'd have a keyboard, basically. That's
Yeah,
what I
yes.
mean
Of
by that.
course, always.
Or a guitar. Yeah.
Also possible.
So the concept of the game is that you're a slug cat who's living in a very aggressive world where everything wants to eat you. The game is called Rainworld because it operates in seasons. So you're awake for a season, which kind of feels like a day. You're awake for a season and you have a little timer in the bottom. By the time that timer is up, you have to find a place to hibernate. Otherwise, the rain comes. And it's not like normal rain. It's like rain that will crush you under the water. And the game like reinforces that idea very well. When you get caught in the rain, you're like, oh, it's just rain. And then it like gets stronger and louder and like it makes you feel really strange, right? But basically like you just you're trying to survive, but at the same time you're trying to find your family. In the intro, it's you and your parents and your 2 siblings, but you're separated from them because the rain starts to come and your family is like rushing to find a place to hibernate and you fall. So it's meant to be played slow. It's meant to be played like very methodically because you don't want to get eaten. You need to, find food. You need to be very careful in how you do things because there's so much stuff that can eat you. And it's very, very unforgiving. But because of that, it's been really divisive with people.
That's what I was going to say. I was really curious what you would say because I was going to do it for this week's Fan Friday, but I played maybe 2 hours of it, and it is slow. Like, I don't want to spoil the game on Fan Fridays, but there has to be a certain level of like, oh my god, this is so much fun. And this is a game that's very like, it's entertaining, but it's slow paced. Like in 2 hours, I don't know how much I actually got done because I was constantly like, okay, I got to watch out for this guy and this thing over here. And then I got to go hibernate. And then I got to go like collect berries and or flies. And so it's like,
it is a survival game. Like pure survival
100%.
game. And I think some people maybe did not understand that. They thought it was maybe some kind of puzzle platformer.
Absolutely did not. I was
It's
expecting
not.
like, because all the footage you see, he's got like a little spear and he's fucking like taking on badass monsters and shit. The first 25 minutes of this game tells you no, that is not the case at all. Like that is not this game. And so I was kind of like, okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of us went into it thinking it was going to be like a weird side-scrolling adventure game.
It's not.
And that is not what the game is at all. It also is the sort of game which I can appreciate. It's the sort of game that doesn't tell you anything. So there are ways in which you have to progress, but you have to like figure them out. And I spent, I want to say, a couple of hours feeling like I was just spinning my tires and like I wasn't progressing. And it was frustrating. It was very, very frustrating for me to play. And even the controls are kind of slow on purpose. The whole game is just very slow.
Very deliberate.
And very deliberately slow. Yeah. Some people have said that it's actually better to play it with keyboard. I got so used to playing because the designer designed it while using a keyboard as the controller.
Right.
So I tried playing it with an Xbox controller. And later on, after I was like done feeling really frustrated, I was like, maybe I'll try it again, but try it with keyboard because I've seen so many people say that it's better with keyboard. And the controls felt just as like, oof, like, slow and
plodding,
So-
methodical.
Yeah, I only use the keyboard, so I can confirm that it is. Everything about it. You're absolutely right. Everything about it is methodical and slow, and take your time and figure this out. And I just feel like the way they marketed it was not that way. Like me going into this game was like, oh, I can't wait to be this little slug cat son of a bitch and like kill him. Monster's trying to kill him and he's like, bitch, I'm a slug cat. Like I was ready, and it's like, no, you spend the first many hours of this game running from everything and waiting. And there's like one of the early on rooms, it's like a bunch of poles, and there are two whatever, like lizards with green teeth or some shit, and you have to like sneak around them because you literally can't do anything. But sometimes the lizards are just like, boop, we're right in your way again, so you just have to wait and be patient.
Yeah.
And like,
enemies can also chase you from screen to screen, so they don't give up hunting you. They genuinely will hunt you.
They'll continue chasing you, but it also operates in a way where they're willing to fight with anything.
Yes.
So
It's
like
an
if you can
ecosystem.
lead one aggressor to another aggressor and get out of their way, chances are they'll just fight each other, and then you can kind of sneak around them.
But it's about patience. It's about like
it is.
It does not. It probably makes for a better stream than it does for a Fan Friday, for example.
Yeah.
But like,
No.
it's one of those things that it's just a slow game, and there's some games that can be good but make for terrible streams or terrible like. It's just that's the way it is, and it sucks that a lot of people are like, I want to play it, I want to show everyone how much I love it, but it's tough to do when the game's like, okay, so if I just wait for 5 minutes right here, it's like, holy shit,
There are some games that you can't get away with just putting an unedited stream of out. It's just the way that it is. If you want to properly convey the experience, you've got to take a cleaver to that footage. But if you put it on a stream, you're going to be sitting around. That's often the case, like with turn-based games as well, where you get decision anxiety, and it's like, well, I'm going to sit here for 5 minutes trying to figure out what I'm going to do, and everyone else is just like, go! Do something! Entertain me!
Well, I mean, that's the same thing if you're playing like a stealth game, People are like, just fucking go. It's like, I don't want to be detected. Like, go. It's like, no, I'm trying to get through this sneakily. And that's just because it's entertainment. Like when you think about what our jobs are, it's to be like, we're making crazy things happen. Yeah. And so, yeah, sometimes games just don't work out like that.
Because they weren't necessarily built that way, and that's entirely fine.
Yeah.
I don't
And
want
yeah.
every game to be built as a streaming game. I think that would be a terrible idea.
Yeah, I think Rainworld is supposed to be exactly what it is. And I do think that it's sad that so many people are going into it, including myself, thinking it's going to be a different type of game and getting really frustrated with the pace of it. Because I don't think that it's a bad game. I think that it's just not what I wanted to play. And I got frustrated enough that I basically was just like, all right, I'm done. And that's not very common for me. Like normally if I get frustrated, I'm like, no, let's like fucking do this, right? And it I don't know. It was like a combination of just like I'm frustrated, but I'm also not having fun right now. And that was a big bummer for me. But I'm glad that there are so many people who really love methodical games like that. They're like, this is exactly the sort of game that I've been wanting. So even though it is divisive, there's like this whole group of people who are finding this game and being like, yes, I love this. This is just what I wanted, you know?
It seems like a very niche title. It was marketed a lot, I think, because, well, you know, it's Adult Swim publishing. Obviously, they want to sell copies of the game. They're very effective at marketing stuff. They also, by the way, publish a lot of very hard games. Should be noted that Adult Swim actually does lean in that direction for many of its titles. One of the first ones it did, of course, Robot Unicorn Attack, and then it did Super House of Dead Ninjas, which was a fucking nightmare of a game. So hard.
Volgar?
Oh, Volgar, yeah. I played that again not too long ago, and I was like,
that game's
game
still
is
hard.
Fucking hard, dude.
Yeah, no matter what you do, that game's like, get wrecked, bitch.
It's so
like,
frustrating.
Stop, I just want to beat you.
Stu, you have both a grin on your face and a look of maybe distant pain, like you've experienced some of these games before and they've been so damn difficult.
I can remember Robot Unicorn Attack, which is one of those things that seems like, oh, that's a bit of a laugh. Play that for 2 minutes. And like 4 hours later, you're like, no, I will get one more point.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd never quite understood the addiction from that one. And the bizarre Erasure music in the background, which you would have put off and yet fits so perfectly.
It's weird. It's like they built their whole publisher ideology on the back of what Robot Unicorn Attack is.
Yep.
And they went out of their way to find and publish games that had elements of that were kind of, this is really hard, but you really want to just try it just once more, that you're motivated to keep trying to beat this really difficult obstacle. And it's
interesting
very interesting
aesthetics.
thing to look at.
They like games that have an odd look to them.
Yeah.
And in this case, I think in terms of the trailer, and the several trailers for Rainworld, I can understand why people got the idea that this was kind of like Ori and the Blind Forest, as opposed to a hardcore survival game, which it actually is. Because yes, they do show some action-packed scenes, and they show you kind of fighting back, but most of the time you're not fighting back. You're running, you're hiding, you're trying to survive. They parts of the trailers do convey the threat and the fact that you're a very small, vulnerable being in a very large world, but maybe they make you look a bit more heroic than you actually are.
They definitely do.
So
do you think the false trailer syndrome is going to hurt the game?
It could. If people have those kind of expectations, particularly since its aesthetic is very interesting because of the way that the creatures and the slug cat are modeled. A lot of the animation is procedurally generated through the physics engine. It's not predetermined. It's not pre-rendered, which is why so many people are like, wow, this moves like a real thing. Like I was talking to the dev over a year ago at PAX, and I was impressed by that. It's like, yeah, I wanted to make it move like a slug cat would. And I'm like, well, how would a slug cat move? And he's like this.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't argue with that. But yeah, it is based on, it's all physics driven. The models have various connection points and a skeleton, and they move the way that you would expect them to, and they generate some very eerie, realistic looking animations. And obviously every now and again it generates something that looks ridiculous. But
yeah, of
I
course.
think the aesthetic will have been a huge draw for people, because of course it's not like they could play it. They're going to be drawn in by that. And then maybe blindsided by the fact that, yes, this is a deliberately hard game that doesn't tell you anything, that is about exploration but puts obstacles deadly obstacles in your way. You have to explore slowly. Your approach to problem solving has to be that of prey, not the predator.
Yeah.
It's not a power fantasy. It's the opposite of that. It's a vulnerability fantasy or something like that, you know? A powerless fantasy.
Yeah, because you're not even just a weak organism in this world. You're a baby version of a weak organism. Like, you're a child in this game. So it's like, no, you can't, you know, if you really need to get by, yeah, you can throw a rock at something and hope that they fall so that you can go by, but you can't really like kill anything. You're just not strong
You can maybe
enough.
grab a spear and maybe get something small, but most of it, you got to throw a spear at, it's just going to piss it off, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. I was like, I'm going to grab this spear because this fucking dragon shit isn't moving. So I'm going to grab this spear and I'm going to stab him in the butt. And then I'm going to go by. And I stabbed him in the butt and he just like turned around and ate me. And I was like, okay.
I think maybe the best comparison to this is you should compare this to a horror game. Because in reality, that's actually what it is, right? It puts the same sort of feelings of vulnerability that old school survival horror games did. You know, before they gave you an arsenal of weapons and made you a complete badass. It was more about being scared, being vulnerable, and this is a different approach to that, but with a bit of a, I'd say a survival twist, but in reality, I mean, that word came up before, survival horror. It's actually a true survival horror with modern survival elements to it. Well, it seems like we're coming right back around again. But yeah, it may very well, it's going to be divisive, I think. Certainly.
I think
but
it's still
it'll find its audience.
I think it's still being reviewed pretty well. Like it's not doing badly review wise. But I think a very small percentage of people who start this game will finish it.
Oh, I have no doubt about that.
So
a lot of people don't finish games. It's one of the things that was
that's
brought
true.
up
Just in general, I guess that's true.
While, as people were aware, we went to Valve for some meetings and for consultation. One of the things that just kind of casually came up in conversation, because we were mostly talking about achievements and using achievements to drive data about how much somebody liked a game on the basis of how much of it that they played and what they achieved in, and whether or not they liked it so much that they went after all of the stuff that was really hard to get. You know, being able to derive user preferences from that. And they mentioned it's like, the one thing we learned about achievements is that the number of people that finish games is an all-time low. And we asked them, you know, why do you think that is? And they said, well, a lot of it is due to the fact that there are just so many games now that, and especially considering a lot of them could be acquired cheaply on a sale or through a bundle, that people don't feel the need to get their money's worth as much. So they'll have a taste of it. They'll get kind of what they want out of the game, and then that'll be, they won't feel the need to persist. And since there's so much else immediately coming out on a week-to-week basis, they're like, well, I can't stick with this game because this one just came out and I want to check that one out too. So
man,
there's
that's
a lot of that to
interesting.
it.
I wouldn't have really thought of that, but I guess that's true.
Yeah, it is. It's a strange world we live in, indeed, that, you know, we have that issue of content saturation. There are so many games, but in particular, this year, a lot of those games have turned out to be really goddamn good, to the point where people are like, well, how am I going to play all of these? And the answer is, well, you're not. It's our full-time job to do it, and we can't. You know, it's impossible. So be selective. All right, well, yeah, Rainworld. I'm not going anywhere near that. Not touching that with a 10-foot pole. That sounds like a game that I would not enjoy whatsoever. I can respect it, but it doesn't. It's like it doesn't respect me because I haven't proven my mettle. So I'm like, no. I'm a filthy casual. Keep me away. Stuart, what have you been playing this week? I'd love all over the last few weeks.
I've played very little except, well, very bad old 8-bit games, which I do not want to think about the second. Breath of the Wild, been going through that.
Yes.
Still not at the end. I think it's a game you could probably motor through quite quickly, but I've been, basically, I've played almost nothing, seriously, except Dark Souls or derivatives for a couple of years. So it was really nice to have something that was just a lot more sedate. And you could just moodle around and explore things and kick a goblin up the arse and all that kind of stuff, and not have to worry about being invaded, etc., etc.
Right.
Yeah.
Regardless of that, though, Zelda is surprisingly difficult, so I've been told by a lot of people. Do you agree with that assessment?
No, really. A lot of the enemies, even early on, can one-shot you. But maybe because I've been playing Souls so much, I've been keeping a sort of immense distance and running around, and it hasn't been much of a problem for me. But if you just try running in, particularly against a group of them, pretty much at any stage of the game, they will fuck you up bad unless you've really, really prepared for it.
Yeah.
And the cooking is really boring.
What the song though?
Oh God! Skip. I find myself jamming the skip button in that game more than anything. You get a lot of repeated dialogue and repeated animations. It's like, no, get on with it.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
God, it's great.
I'm waiting for the dubstep remix now. Oh dear. But yeah, no, I'm really enjoying it overall. I really want to play Horizon Zero Dawn as well. And it's odd because I'm not usually attracted to open world stuff at all, but sort of two have come along at once, which I'm quite interested.
It is so good.
Right, that's going to be next on the list. Next on the list. I think normally I'd have gone for that first, but I fancied something a bit more sedate beforehand.
Here's the thing. Zelda is a good game too. Like they're both good games, and they both came out at the same time. And shit, March was like the craziest month for gaming. Everything came out, and it was all pretty effing good.
Yeah, with perhaps the exception in some people's minds of Mass Effect, but even then, it's
Mass
still
Effect's not bad though. Like it's just not great.
It's like compared to everything else, it's like we had several Game of the Year candidates come out in March, and Mass Effect was merely good.
Yeah.
So for that wasn't enough for a lot of people. You know who I pity? The indie guys that came out in March.
Yeah, man.
I'm actually deliberately going back and looking at some of the stuff in March that I missed because, like, they need some help. Fuck, like, they got buried in a major way. I just did my Has Been Heroes video. I talked about a little bit about that last week. Dodger, I was mentioning that to you because it's a Switch game. You didn't get a chance to check it out, I guess.
No, I didn't check it out yet.
I did my video on it after playing actually more than I thought I would of it. And I was like, well, this game's going to get no attention because of when it came out. And because it hasn't reviewed well because it's an unusual game. Like, you've got to really be very tolerant of the roguelite trappings that it has to actually enjoy it. And I imagine quite a few reviewers wouldn't. But that slipped right under the radar for a lot of people. Would have slipped even further under the radar if it wasn't one of the only games out on Switch right now.
It's got a kind of flash gamey kind of look to it as well.
Does.
I don't think that helps, does it?
You are very right in that regard. And here's the thing. You know who made it? The guys who made Trine. And you might be thinking that it's like, wow, Trine was beautiful, and this is not. This clearly is not. I was like, yeah, you're totally right. It caught me off guard that it was. In terms, I still think that if you have to be a certain kind of person to enjoy it. You've got to be tolerant of those roguelite progression trappings. You know, you're not going to beat the game the first time. The game's designed for multiple runs. You're going to unlock new stuff every time you do it. You're going to get stuck on things. Some runs are going to be horribly unfair. Some runs are going to be easy because you've got the right combo of items. You got to pick up items you don't even know what they do, and then you can't change who is carrying them because it's a roguelite game and they love to do that shit to you. But like under all of that, if you actually enjoy that, if you think it's a plus rather than a minus, it's got this really cool real-time tactics lane-based thing where you've got to plan all of your moves ahead and actively use all of your resources optimally, have your right guys in the right lanes at the right time. You can only move guys between lanes if someone is out of position because they're in the middle of an attack. So you don't want to make sure you guys get stuck in the wrong places. And if enemies actually reach you, they could slowly walk towards you in real time. If they actually reach you, you're probably going to die. Like, you'll take a couple of hits and you're dead, and that ends your run. So it's an unusual game that'll probably do relatively well on PC once it hits a sale, because though, roguelite sort of games do pretty well on PC, if people can get a grasp of how the core gameplay loop works. But
what's everybody's favorite roguelike?
Roguelike or roguelite? There's the question.
What's the difference between the two? I actually don't know.
Define your terms, sir.
All right, I can do so.
God, here we go.
Because I had a 2-hour video planned on this. I'm good.
Quickly, back to Mass Effect.
Oh, mistakes were made. You shouldn't have mentioned it. In my opinion, I'm very strict on genre definitions. So for me, a roguelike has to share significant mechanical similarities with the game Rogue.
Rogue.
The game that originated the genre. And there are old games such as Rogue, of course, Umoria, Angband, and its 1,000,001 different variants that were old school ASCII games where you'd control an @ and fight lowercase t's and uppercase p's. A lot of them were Middle-earth themed for some reason, because again, Rogue led to Umoria, so you had all of the Moria stuff, and you fight Sauron, who I think was an uppercase S, very dangerous. But it has a couple of aspects. It's got to be turn-based. It has to have the enemies moving when you do. It has to have permadeath. And usually it has to be based around a dungeon with an above-ground town hub of some sort. And that's a roguelike. It doesn't necessarily have to have no graphics. It can have graphics. Dungeons of Dreadmore. You remember that? Good few years ago. Quite a lot of us played that. That's a roguelike. That's a modern roguelike. Ancient Domains of Masochism. Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. There's a
Sword of the Stars, the Pit, or is that a bit too far from the...
Nope,
Yeah.
that's a true roguelike, yes.
Yeah.
Very much, the
There's
turn-based...
no hub world at the top, is there? Is the only
No,
difference?
there is not, but enough of the mechanics are kind of similar. The idea of roguelite is that it's not the same genre, it's just, it takes some principles that those games kind of had and bundles them together. The idea of, it's got randomly generated levels, and it's designed to end your progress when you die. But roguelites, in particular now, are focused on the idea that, yes, you're going to die, but you get some sort of permanent progress. Like, you'll unlock new items for your future runs, or in Rogue Legacy, you get money to build your town up in between runs. In Darkest Dungeon, your heroes die, but you can get new heroes, and the stuff you get from the dungeon helps you upgrade your town, all that kind of thing. And with Isaac, obviously one of the most well-known, it's a more of kind of top-down Zelda-like 8-way shooter, but in that case, every time you go through, you're getting new characters, you're unlocking new stuff for all of your runs, and you can apply roguelite to like any other genre. You could have a roguelite first-person shooter. There are those. They exist. Tower of Guns is an example of that. That's a roguelite first-person shooter. Binding of Isaac, more of a top-down shooter. You can have a roguelite space sim game like FTL. They all have those similarities in principle, but they're not necessarily mechanically identical. Those elements are starting to leak into
what
other
is
games.
your favourite roguelite?
There.
Isaac.
FTL, I think.
Oh, I loved FTL, loved Isaac as well. Both fantastic.
Yeah.
Really liked Hand of Fate.
Yes, that's one that you did. Hand of Fate 2 is coming out soon. And it fixes so
Jesse
many
and I got
problems.
to play that.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's the problem I had with Hand of Fate was mostly that the whole 3D combat God of War thing was just not very good. It was passable. It's much better now.
Arkham Asylum light.
Yeah, it was a bad Arkham game. It's much better now. It's much more polished. They had a bigger budget.
Ziggurat was kind of a roguelite, wasn't it?
It's a roguelite first-person shooter. Oh, that's a great one. If you haven't tried that, it's think of.
I wish that game got more attention. That game
it.
was so fun.
It's like think of Heretic and Hexen, like a first-person shooter but with magic, but it's a roguelite. So it's got randomly generated levels, and there's a whole bunch of spells and enemies to unlock, and each room has like different modifiers to it. And what I loved about that game was that it gave you more than one weapon at the start. Like, I find a lot of roguelites have boring combat. Isaac, I hate Isaac's combat. I think it's really dull. But they gave you more than one weapon to start off with, which I thought was great, and they let you carry up to 4. So I was like, yeah, this is great. There's much more combat variety. And like I said, it reminded me of Heretic and Hexen, which is always going to be a good thing. God, I miss those games. Need a new one of those.
Have you ever played Dreamquest, which is sort of a rogue-light card game?
No, but tell me about it.
I think it's on Steam, yeah. It's got probably the worst graphics of almost any game I've ever played, including things from the early 80s. They're just so
Damn.
badly drawn. It's astonishing. But it's the actual core mechanics of the card game and the rogue elements. I've played it more than probably anything else in the last year.
Yeah. I can only find like 1 or 2 videos on YouTube about it. Apparently it's on iOS, so there's a reason for me to play it.
I've been playing it on my phone when I'm stuck somewhere boring.
You're right. It's absolutely hideous. I'm looking at this Let's Play right now that's recorded in a window with like Bandicam or something. The art is completely terrible.
It's unbelievable. The swords on the basic cards it's like somebody has had a sword explained to them, but they've never seen one themselves. You know?
So why is it great? Like, why should I push through the presentation of this?
Everything about it is so tightly designed and so addictive to come back and get a little bit more each time. And then when you finally unlock everything, you unlock different characters that work on a more sort of random principle, which makes it even more roguelike and keeps your interest in that. The progression of it is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And everything is so cleverly laid out and every consequence has been thought of. I can't recommend it enough, except for the graphics, which
yeah, they are definitely hideous and would be off-putting. But you know what? I'm going to pick that up on iOS. I'm going to get past that. And, you know, I mean, hell, I shouldn't be in a situation where I'm being put off by graphics when I played Angband, which had no graphics, for fuck's sake. You know? I actually miss playing those. It's a bit of gaming history for people. Download, if you can, an Angband variant. My favorite used to be Sangband, which was skill Angband, which meant that it had crafting skills that you could get, and you could upgrade your character with different, being able to craft weapons and stuff, which was pretty cool, because in the original you can never do that. You're reliant on drops and stuff. But Sangband was my favorite variant. Some people swear by Zangband, which had a much bigger overworld, and also allowed you to explore up in the overworld above the dungeon. There are a huge amount of variants. I imagine there's probably a modern version with a tile set now. Give it a try. The gameplay really does hold up. It's super hard. It's all about exploration. You even the principles that are used in a lot of these roguelites where you don't know what items do, it actually goes as far as you don't even know the lore of what the monsters are before you start fighting them. And as the monsters do things, it gradually fleshes out the lore of each thing. Because like, cool. Oh, it does poison attack, so now I know this is like a poison worm, and this is why it had poison and stuff like that. It was all about discovery and knowing absolutely nothing. Really cool. But this Dreamquest thing, I'll give it a try on your recommendation.
Yep. That is my recommendation of the day.
Yeah, even though it looks abysmal, I will give it a shot.
Yeah, I can't help feeling that the graphics have probably put off probably 85% of people who've ever looked at it.
More than that, I think. Because it's not just basic graphics, it's flat out bad. Like, you would have been better off just doing abstract representations of things than this.
Or literally ASCII or something, because it's
ASCII.
It's variable from completely awful to very bad, and like there's nothing actually beyond that range.
That's so sad.
There's one of the characters, I think the assassin, because they all have character portraits, which are some of the better art in the game, but still terrible. And like one of the hands is just like bent completely backwards. There's like no knowledge of how human hands work whatsoever.
Oh my. Yeah, it does remind me of those old school kind of shareware indie games. Did you ever play any of the Exile games?
I remember a game called Exile.
Yeah, there were several ones, and you might be thinking of an even older one than that from the 80s. There was one on the BBC Micro called Exile. That's not the same thing. Yeah, it was a Windows 95 top-down traditional RPG, and it was like one guy that did it. He still makes games. He runs I believe is Jeff Vogel from, I'm hoping this is the same guy, Spiderweb Software. And I believe he made those. Yeah, I'm just double checking. Did he make the Exile trilogy? Yes. Exile Escape from the Pit, Exile 2 Crystal Souls, Exile 3 Ruined World. I used to get these on old CDs, or even I think with the original even floppy disks that came on PC magazines. And I'd play them, and they were great. He apparently has remade a lot of them with the Avernum and Avalon series. And he keeps making them. He does pretty much all this stuff on his own, but it's really amazing to see that he's got better over like 20 years at art. It's still quite limited, but it used to look like crap, and now it's like, wow, you've actually progressed as an artist, and you know, these are genuinely old school, cool RPGs that are really worth your time now. He has a lot of interesting things to say about the games industry, because he's never been super successful, so he comes across as a bit jaded, but he still makes these games because he loves making them.
That's interesting.
I respect that a lot. Check out his website, spiderwebsoftware.com. You'll see the whole history back down in 1994 when he started making these things.
For some reason, you've now reminded me of an old action RPG type game where all the characters were made out of balls. And I'm trying to remember what that was called. Not those balls.
Not the fighting
No,
game.
no,
Because there was a fighting game
That-
where everything was made out of
Vector
balls,
Man,
right?
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
What was that called? My God.
Damn. All right, I'm going to look.
Ecstatica. Ecstatica.
Ecstatica. How do you spell
Yeah.
that?
Very poorly. I would have thought.
Indeed.
Let me have
Ecstatic.
Yeah, Ecstatica,
it was.
action RPG from MS-DOS in 1994, released by Psygnosis.
Oh my God.
Of all
I
people.
never knew that. Psygnosis.
Psygnosis, man.
Yeah.
The guys behind Wipeout.
Worse than I remember. That's astonishing. My God.
Ecstatica. Oh,
I never played a full version. I remember having a playable demo on a magazine and played it a bit and that's enough of that.
Yeah, they called, there's a term for it. Apparently they used what they call epsiloid graphics to display characters.
Not the Epsiloids.
Anything but them.
50s attack film from the
Revenge
Planet
of the
X.
Epsiloids.
Yeah.
Like
God.
that, I'll find that on Rift Tracks any day now, guaranteed. With Mystery Science Theater for that one. It was an old way of rendering 3D that never really caught on, because obviously everyone was doing polygons, and they said, we're going to do this because polygons look too angular and sharp, so we're going to use this instead. And it looked worse, but they tried it.
Yeah, and you end up with weird Balloon World.
You
and
do.
It's just very strange.
I'm actually trying to dig up some gameplay of it so you can see what's going on. Oh, yep, here we go. Thanks to Otaku Chest for this horrific looking thing. You know, it actually reminds me of an older, slightly worse looking, but not by much version of Five Nights at Freddy's. Gives me that vibe.
I can see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah. It also gives me a bit. This is a very this is Alone in the Dark-esque in a big way. Even the way that they, like, the woman's hiding in a closet from this evil monster or whatever, that, and the way that she moved and staggered over there, the kind of old school survival horror. Amazing.
And it's all one fixed angle with a pre-rendered background. You can't see what you're doing half the time because you're behind something, and all the joys like that.
Oh god, even the punching animations. That is so much like Alone in the Dark. Amazing. I did not know this existed.
Well, that's ruined your life.
Yeah, it has. Although I have to say, I don't think it looks quite as bad as it could have. For a 1994 game, the idea of not having really sharp angular polygons, it didn't look terrible.
I do know, looking at it now, the animation's better than I remember.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mind you, couldn't be much worse than I remember, to be fair. So, yeah.
Yes. That is true. Good lord. Yeah. We're really diving into some great obscure stuff here. I love it.
Jesse, you sure are.
Yes. We'll get on to Die by the Sword in a minute, and then we're all doomed.
Oh, God. Or a bit like later than that, but a game that was really divisive back in the day. Because I remember it getting like 4 out of 10s and stuff like
Leisure
that.
Suit Larry.
No.
Oh, now it's where you would have to answer the questions at the start to prove you were old enough.
Prove you're old enough.
Yeah.
Wouldn't work
And it
these
was all
days.
It's
American
like
pop
basic
culture stuff,
addition
so we
question and shit, right?
Well, a lot of it was based on stuff you wouldn't know because you weren't old. It's like presidents and like pop culture references that were too old for kids. They actually used those.
Huh.
But
And because there was no Google, you couldn't just go look it up.
yeah.
Right.
So they
Man, a time before Google.
there was this actually came out in 2001. I thought it came out before that, but Severance Blade of Darkness. Do you remember that one?
Oh, yeah. Is that the one I think it is? Hang on.
Very arguably, in many ways, the Western Dark Souls before there was a Dark Souls. It had a lot of ideas that are actually ended up being used in Dark Souls. We have no idea whether or not this game influenced Dark Souls in any way, because of course, From was doing Kingsfield before Dark Souls. But Severance in 2001, if this game came out to modern standards today, it would probably be lauded. But it was hated back then because it had things like weapon weight, where if a weapon weighed too much for you, you would drag it along the ground and could like barely swing it. It was super hard. You couldn't take a lot of hits. Very Souls-esque in many ways. And it was not liked back then.
Of it, and I've never played it. I got it because I presented a show years ago with a woman who did some of the voice acting for it.
Really? There you go.
And I don't think she was a gamer herself. She was like, oh, it's meant to be quite good. So I bought it and then never got round to it. And now I feel terrible.
It's It was. I don't know if it was good. Like, I don't think it was necessarily a good game by any means, but tell me, you're looking at this footage and tell me that this does not in some ways remind you of Dark Souls, particularly if you got into some of the combat, less hack and slashy, more you must block, you must evade, you must dodge. A weapon swing had real consequences, there was real weight to it. It was interesting. Not necessarily good, but intriguing.
Oh, God, the animation of the walking and that.
Not good.
It's all a bit C-3PO, isn't it?
Very much so. It was not good in that regard at all.
And the dreaded thing of the feet not quite seeming like they're connected to the floor when they're running. The treadmill effect.
Yep. Hey, look, you can even destroy boxes the same way that you kind of could in Dark Souls. And same kind of grey walls and looks and everything, and you're slowly creeping around corners. And yeah, they had enemies that would ambush you and stuff like that. I actually haven't found any combat yet in this long play that I'm watching here. There it is. There we go. There's a little bit of combat. But yeah, it is. God damn it. This is so much Souls.
It really is.
I didn't even realize.
Kick him off a bloody ledge any second.
Yeah. I look at the dodging and the how stamina related everything is and how much damage you take from hits. Like, it just didn't have the animation quality really to convey how dangerous the hits were. Jesus. Yeah. Wow. There you go.
Yeah. Well, never knew that was like that.
It is. We've got to do like just a little bit more nostalgia fest for the next 5 minutes before we go to a break.
Did anybody ever properly get on with the die by the swords, control your sword with the mouse system?
No. Not in the slightest. It was an interesting idea. I'll give him that. And I think that a lot of people at that time really had the fantasy of being able to control a sword in a more direct way. But die by the sword was not that way. Especially since it was a third-person game. Yeah. I mean, it would have made more sense in first person, but look at how this swings. Like, it looks awful. Genuinely terrible. Someone managed to get this running at 1080p 60. I don't know how they fucking managed that, but it doesn't help. I can tell you that for a fact.
Oh, God. Are they playing? There was like an easy mode. I think they're doing the easy mode where you could use like the number keys, of which one would bring it in one direction, one would take it to another, and you were just flailing like an idiot the whole time.
Yeah, it was the concept of what was called a combat reference. The idea of tying your movement directly into where your sword went, which, as it turns out, was a very bad idea, and even to a lesser extent was considered a pretty bad idea in Skyward Sword, much later on with the Wiimote. A lot of people didn't like that. And that wasn't even as crazy as this in terms of how closely it matched you.
There is a weird disconnect of trying to sort of motion control a sword or something when it's in third person, I think.
Oh, yeah, I think that was a terrible idea. Putting it in first person would have made a lot more sense.
And again, in VR is the ultimate one, because it makes perfect sense that you move your arm and the thing in your arm moves. But every level of abstraction beyond that is...
Yeah, it's weird that we finally got there, right? That some of that sword swinging actually feels good now because of VR and because of how good Oculus Touch and the Vive motion controls are. We made it.
You guys just got me wanting to go back and play old games now.
You should.
Welcome to my world.
I just, for the longest time, I've been like, man, would it be fun to just go back and play Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis?
That's a great game.
God.
It's such a good game, and I haven't played it in years.
Right?
I'm just like, man, I want to go back and do that. Now I'm just like, where can I?
GOG's got it, I think.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: I have the fucking CD back behind me. Like, I love that game,
but you don't have a CD drive anymore.
Sid Meier's Pirate. Yeah, I don't. That's absolutely true.
You're going to play it on Wits, what was it, Wits, Fists, or Team, was it? You have the 3 different methods. You could have it where you teamed up with the other character, or you just had all the puzzles Indy did himself, or just loads of the really bad fighting sequences.
Yeah. Oh, man, you can fight that German. Oh,
yes.
Such a good game.
Yeah, they have all 3 Indiana Jones games up on GOG, actually. Emperor's Tomb and Last Crusade are there as well.
Oh my God, Settlers 2, I go back and play that shit. I love that game.
Well, Settlers 2 is just still genuinely good now.
Every Wing Commander, go back and play all the Wing Commander.
All of them. Then watch the Wing Commander movie. That totally wasn't a letdown or anything. Yeah. It'll be totally fine.
No One Lives Forever 1 and 2. I'd go back and play those.
Well, good luck. That's one of the very famous games of being impossible to get digitally because
Really?
it's caught in licensing hell.
Boo.
People have been pushing so hard to get those games because honestly, No One Lives Forever 2 in particular
So
was-
good.
was a lot of people refer, of course, to Half-Life and Half-Life 2 as being huge innovators in the kind of scripted way that a lot of shooters ended up going. But No One Lives Forever 1 and 2, they did that, but they also did a lot of ability-focused stuff, and they had kind of a skill tree and gadgets. Not to mention, it was a hilarious game. I will still remember the best turret sequence of all time. You are sitting on the shoulders of a giant Scotsman riding a tiny tricycle, chasing down evil baddies. It is the best.
Yep.
Oh man, that sold.
Good luck.
The original-
You'll have to find it on eBay. That's the only place you can get it. There's probably you could probably get a torrent. I don't even know if it works on Windows 10 at this point.
The
But
original Syndicate, though, that was also good.
Ooh,
Also on
yes.
GOG.
The ghost
Man.
gun, exploding whole buildings. Oh,
That's it.
yeah.
that's a good example of a game that the concept is amazing, but some of the controls don't really hold up anymore, and the user
Holy shit.
interface doesn't.
That's all TIE Fighter is. I was so excited when GOG was like, we're getting TIE Fighter, y'all, it's coming back. I downloaded that shit immediately and was like, oh my God, these controls are 20 years old controls. Like, every button on your keyboard is used, and you're
Yep,
like, this
yep.
is the most unintuitive shit. Wow. It blows your mind that when I was, God, 8, 9, 10, I thought this game was the shit. And I literally could not, like, today play it. I was like, I can't. How do I even do this?
I managed it. It was while back when Axiom was sponsored by GOG, I'd do like a monthly stream for them of an old game. And I said, yeah, I'll do X-Wing Alliance. Let's go. And I used a combination of my HOTAS, the X52 SciTech, with the keyboard because the HOTAS doesn't have enough buttons. Despite having 32 fucking buttons, doesn't have enough buttons for that game.
Insane.
Thankfully, there are some people who have done the full-on setup that you can just download and use, so that helps a lot. But yeah, it is a tricky one to play, and Syndicate in particular is a game that, while it is incredible for its time, it suffers user interface problems, kind of just like the original XCOM does. The user interface was just too archaic. It wasn't designed properly. If you're going to play a Syndicate game, go play Satellite Rain at this point, because that's as close to a modern, true Syndicate that you're going to get.
Can you still use the Persuadertron to have an
Yep.
entire army of innocent people around you?
Yep, they've got even further than
That's
that.
the main thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of hacking and stuff that you can do. Yeah, so they have it's by some of the ex-devs. Obviously, they don't call it Syndicate, but it basically is Syndicate brought up to a modern date. And to some extent, if you just enjoyed the carnage of Syndicate, Brigador is great as well. That's a game that came out last year, I think. It reminds me a bit of Desert Strike and Soviet Strike, those sort of isometric vehicle-based carnage simulators. It has an amazing soundtrack, and they did all of the art by hand to ludicrously high detail. It's an amazing game. Very much worth looking at.
Bring it down, Satellite Rain.
Yeah, I'll put those on your lists. I'll be interested to see what you think of them if you ever get the chance.
Yeah, man.
I'll get back to you in 2025. It'll be magic.
I imagine you will. We're going to take a short break, folks. When we come back, more of what we've been playing this week and maybe some trivia from the Valve trip. I've already covered all the serious stuff, but I can tell you what's stuck to their walls if you like. We'll be right back after the break. Don't go anywhere. This is the Co-Optional Podcast. Some more music, I think, from Domina, which we will also discuss after the break. Yes.
Yeah, we should
Domina.
talk about Domina for sure.
Indeed, it's the only time we ever get to talk about gladiatorial Roman cock sleeves on this show. It's going to happen. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-Optional Podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed the break and the incredible music from Big Nick. We're using his soundtrack from Domina for the show today. You can check him out over at Big Nick, that's spelled BIGNIC.bandcamp.com. His music is also available on Spotify if you want to check it out. It's really, really good.
That music is excellent.
Yeah, no doubt about it. There's just some awesome, awesome stuff in there. So hopefully he gets more gigs, because he should. This is the first time I've heard of him, actually. Although I believe I accidentally got one of his soundtracks in one of the music soundtrack bundles that sometimes come out. And I think
nice.
I think he did a game called Zombies, which obviously I kind of overlooked because, well, it's called Zombies. I mean, who wouldn't overlook that? But apparently, yeah, great, amazing, wow, good stuff.
Shall we talk about the game
Yeah.
that music is from?
Let's do that, yes. So we are talking about a game called Domina, which is a gladiatorial ludus management game. You manage a failing ludus, and you have to recruit gladiators, train them up, make money, of course, through gladiatorial fights, give the gladiators equipment, upgrade the ludus, hire staff, manage your money, deal with relationships with the magistrate and the legate and stuff like that, and eventually beat in a limited amount of time these like 9 arena kind of bosses who require you to win the great games to be the greatest ludus manager of all time, etc., etc. And the first thing that's worth noting about this game is you can't save
There's no save option in this game, y'all.
of any sort. Now, we
Yeah,
don't just
I
mean
thought that was strange.
it's bonkers. We found out when it first came out, and then people were like, what the hell, this hasn't got a save option, of course start refunding it. And I said it on Twitter as well. We got a response from the dev who said, well, I never considered that anyone would need it because you can beat the game in like 2 hours. Like, well, one, you can beat the game in 2 hours.
Yeah. I did not get anywhere near beating it in like 3 hours, so...
No, not at all. Not in the slightest. No way. I did a 3-hour stream, and my stream ended on my entire gladiator roster all dying in a 12 versus 12 pit fight after a flood had prevented us from getting food and water to the ludus. So all of my progress was gone. We just wiped off the map.
Damn.
Brutal. Very brutal. Yeah. I think that the dev has taken a bit of, we'll go back to that word again, roguelite approach. But in this case, a lot of roguelite games may have quite short runs, so maybe you can justify not having a pause, although I still think it's bad. But this game, no. This game goes on for hours. There's no way. You should be able to have a save feature.
You should be able to save. That's like a really big oversight for this game. Because overall, I think the game is so fun. Like a really, really fun game. And the fact that something that's like, I would say as far as gaming goes, like a quality of life element of playing a game. Like the fact that they don't have a save is weird.
Yeah.
I am so into this game. Oh my God. This looks so cool.
Dude, it's great. It's really, really fun, but it's difficult. It's a difficult game.
Yeah, but like...
So it's a difficult management game and you can't save.
Yes.
Yeah. That just sounds so ridiculous. It really does.
You know, there's some people who will argue that you shouldn't be able to save because people would exploit it to save a gladiator from death and stuff like that. That's never an argument. The whole Iron Man argument. Look, there are plenty of games that have Iron Man features that say it only saves on exit and stuff like that and make sure that you can't avoid a bad thing happening. But frankly, I always believe if someone wants to cheat in a single-player game, they should be allowed to cheat.
It's a single-player game. Yeah, who fucking cares?
Yeah, who cares?
And they'll always find a way.
Of course they will.
Anyway,
yeah, all you're doing at that point is making it more difficult for people who are playing the game legitimately to go back to it. If I hadn't had my whole roster wiped out during that fight, I would have gone back and tried to continue the game that I did on my stream and would have been furious to find that there was no way to do that.
Yeah.
But the gameplay, sorry, Dodger, go ahead. I assume you're going to talk about the gameplay.
Yeah, I like that it doesn't hold your hand really at all. It sort of throws you in and is like, you know, you're the daughter of a guy who owned a ludus and you're taking over, and you know, here are 2 other people who can help or hinder you that have a lot of power. And you have to, you know, make choices about who you want to hire, like how many gladiators you want to have. If you have too many, you can decide, do you want to set them free and be very benevolent and maybe help morale, or do you want to sell them because you need money? And yeah, it can be really alarming because the game, when I say that it doesn't hold your hand, it doesn't explain to you it doesn't like tell you the best way to train your gladiators.
Yes.
There are things that I didn't really even realize you could do until I was watching Sam play. And I was like, holy shit, I didn't realize that was like a thing you could do. That's probably very helpful, you know?
I'd say that actually might very well be a problem with the tutorial. Like, there's a difference, I think, between not holding your hand and just flagrantly missing out key information.
I don't think that their tutorial counts as a tutorial.
It barely is one.
I think when they say, would you like to see the tutorial? It's actually, do you want to hear the exposition of this game?
Kind of, yeah.
Do you want us to explain the story and why you're in this position? That's what the tutorial is. The tutorial doesn't actually teach you how to do anything.
It doesn't really, no.
So yeah, you have like a dude who trains the gladiators, and you have all of these employees that you can hire. Those employees have things that they can constantly learn how to do. So you need to like keep track of like, okay, who's not learning anything right now? Because if I have the resources to provide to them to be able to like be better at their job, then that's just going to help my gladiators, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing that I'm sure also is why 12 of your dudes died suddenly. The thing that can really throw you off is you get thrown into a fight and you never have any idea how many dudes you needed to have trained up to that point. So like I could say, okay, I have 10 guys, but I'm only going to give 3 of them really good gear because I shouldn't need more than 3, right? And then it throws you into a situation and says, all right, so in this fight, you need 8 guys, and the other team's also going to have 8 guys, and there's also going to be 4 lions.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? You know, and then you have a situation where literally all of your guys surrender because they're like, what the fuck? I don't even have gear. I don't know what I'm doing here. So yeah, it's tough, but it's really, that's a game where even when you're failing, it's still really fun, I think.
And what's interesting about it is obviously it is a management game, but you have the option after researching like the first skill in the game, which is mind control, to directly control one of your gladiators in the fight. Of course,
I didn't even take that because I was like, no, I want them to fucking fight on their own.
You see, this is, in my opinion, like the most interesting discussion point because that system is pretty basic. It works. It works, but the game clearly wasn't designed as a full-on gladiatorial arena fighter. Like, they didn't invest a huge amount of time into making a really elegant combat system or anything. It does have some depth. You can do some crazy stuff, like you can learn to throw your weapon, grab someone else's, you can disarm them, and once you unlock the other classes, you can throw a net, you know, to trap the guy and all that sort of stuff. And direct control is nice because it doesn't put you at the mercy of the AI, but the game is very, very difficult. Nobody really telegraphs their attacks, and the attacks are so fast, and the battle is often so brutal and short that direct control might not even help you all that much. But the interesting thing to me is, arguably, the game is better if you don't do any of that. If you play it purely as a management game, and the arena fights are pure spectator sport for you, it's arguably more enjoyable, and you also get more invested in the fights if you also are just watching and you're hoping, oh god, I hope I trained this guy with the right stats. I hope that everything goes well. I hope he doesn't accidentally walk too close to the lion and the lion breaks its chain and eats him immediately and kills him off straight away. That was intriguing to me because I think that's happened with some other games as well, like a lot of the football management, sports management games. Some of them give you some direct control, some of them don't. And there is a disagreement between certain people as to whether they should or should not give you that control.
Right.
I must admit, I didn't think I wanted a Ludus management simulator, but looking at that, I kind of need one now.
There's some
great
art in it. It's
there's also like a card system later. Like as you continue to play, there's like cards that you can put on your gladiators that will give them they're typically balanced in a way where it's like if there's a huge bonus, there's also
a penalty.
You know, a penalty.
It very much affects their fighting style a lot of the time. It'll give them a huge benefit to one thing or another, and you can swap them around and all that sort of thing. You don't get that till a little bit later. But that does give you yet more kind of direct control. But like you said, the game doesn't hold your hand, so it's difficult to know which stat you should be pursuing. and whether or not a guy is really any good. You can compare to your opponent to some extent and say, all right, well, this is how much damage the opponent does, but my guy's wearing armor that's good enough to maybe resist that damage. He'll probably be fine. Then you put him in there and he just gets fucking slaughtered because the other guy attacks you so fast that you don't even get a chance to breathe and all that sort of thing. And then there's also training them, and this is a really gamey concept, training their AI. You can train them in meditation, which is supposedly like making them smarter and makes their AI work better, supposedly. Something like that. And by default, that's actually set to 0. So I had a guy who was super strong. It's like 30 training in strength, 30 training in agility, best gear, 0 AI, does a bunch of dumb shit, gets killed.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh God. And the game never explains that concept to you at all.
Yeah. So that's when I said that Sam was doing something that I didn't really even realize you could do. I didn't know that those were like sliders that you were supposed to move around. I thought that they were just showing you like how high of a level the person has. So when I was watching Sam, every single time he got a new dude, he bumped meditation all the way up and just wouldn't use the dude. If he had a choice, he wouldn't use the dude until they had max meditation and then would start training other stuff.
Yeah.
And he always did really well in fights. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's essentially a stat if you decide to take direct control, and most of the fights are 1 versus 1, but not all. There are definitely some group fights. Then you don't need that stat because you take direct control of the guy, which that was intriguing to me. So you can kind of play it 2 different ways. But I think from a combat standpoint, because enemies attack so quickly, it's really hard to see an attack coming and properly evade it. You're mostly just spamming evade and block and getting hits in where you can. It's just it really is it's a clusterfuck. The 12 versus 12 is like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do anything here. It's going to be a total clusterfuck. Fights are really quick. You can turn on an option when you're playing and using Twitch integration, and they're now putting it into single player as well, because the game has a lot of Twitch integration features, which are pretty neat. Your crowd can cheer for you and boo the gladiators. They decide who lives and dies with the thumbs up and thumbs down in your chat. And it'll also pull information for your opponents and for your gladiator names direct from the chat if you want them to as well. So subscribers
so you can have custom gladiator names.
Yes. Yeah. You can change those yourself, or you can have them automatically built. Yeah, I think any game that has permanent character death must have a rename option. I've got to get personally invested.
Yeah,
but
you've got to be heartbroken because Papa Smurf has finally died in a battle of the lion or something. Yeah.
Just disgusting. It's possible to get a lion, by the way. You can recruit a lion. There's an in-game event that lets you do that. And my lion was just wrecking house for ages. But you can't train him. If you click on him, all he does is roar at you. It's like, I want to give you equipment. Nope, roar. Stats. Nope, roar. I want to heal you. Nope, roar. All right. Apparently, if you send him in, there's a big risk he'll actually turn on your guys if you send him in a multi-man fight and eat your gladiators instead of the enemies.
Of course.
It's brutal. It's got a lot of swearing in it. It's very, very inspired by the Starz series Spartacus. And it's got Rome as well, the HBO Rome series.
In my mind, all I want to do is play this game, but only use quotes from Spartacus. Blood and sand.
Yeah. There's a lot of it. They
Jupiter's cock!
Jupiter's cock's in there. Jupiter's cock is in there.
Shout that over and over again.
Yeah,
that's a new one.
They got people to record some voice lines that are randomly shouted at you during fights, and some of them, they're all highly offensive. And you can unlock, equipment-wise, various powerful levels of cock sheath. That is true.
At last. Yeah. How many years have we waited?
Groinal protection is a big thing, and the basic stuff is a cock sheath. You can then get a studded leather cock sheath and eventually graduate to a full skirt or full armor and stuff down there. But yeah, you need it. You need that codpiece, that Roman codpiece. Very important.
I love it.
The cock sheath is, needless to say, far larger than it should be. And of course, you can hire a guy that can get whores and entertainment for your gladiators. Although one thing I have not, maybe it's a random event, but I haven't had it happen yet. I can't whore out my own gladiators to wealthy noble women.
You're not doing it right. That's also having seen Blood and Sand, it may not work out the best way. Just put it out.
True.
Just put it out there. It might cause more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. And it would also be nice if, and again, maybe there's just events later on in the game, if the Domina herself kind of got involved in the whole political scheming. There's a few, they definitely nod to that.
There's some of that.
There is
some of that.
Yeah, I'd like to see that be a bit fleshed out. As you've got
Dude, I was selling secrets like a mad lady. Every time I found out something about the magistrate, I was like, yo.
Sell it to the legate.
Yeah, I went to the legate and I was like, yo, you want some secrets? He was like, yeah. And I was like, good, because I really need water and I don't have any money left.
Yeah. You've got these two main characters who have like a influence meter that you need to manipulate. And if they hate you, they'll do bad stuff to you. There's a bunch of different events that affect them, often where you'll have to choose between the two of them.
Yeah. And you can gift them wine to make them happy.
Oh my god.
If you don't
I
give
wish
them
I was
enough
in the
wine,
cosplay.
they get annoyed.
I would stream this fucking game dressed like Lucy Lawless from Spartacus and just be like, get them, my gladiators. Fuck. Oh, this sounds great. I'm playing it. This is happening.
Oh yeah. If you've seen the series of Spartacus, you have to play this game just on the basis of that alone. At least season 1 and the prequel series, which was Heroes of the Arena
like
or something.
1.5 or whatever they called it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what that was all about. Yeah, obviously in season 2 and 3, I'm not going to spoil, but it changes the nature of it a bit. I watched the whole thing; it was great, but I still think season 1 was the best, without a doubt. You know,
oh yeah,
I've never seen, because it was all politicking and backstabbing, and it wasn't even mostly about the fights. It was mostly about the politicking and just how corrupt Roman society was.
Yeah, man.
Super cool. There's even a great board game of it.
Also, Rome is also very good. I know you
Yes.
mentioned it, but it's
Rome, HBO, and BBC series.
At least the
seen
first
either
season.
of those.
Yeah. Oh, you've got to. You've got to. There's I've never seen as much male nudity or nudity in general.
There's a lot of nudity in that show.
Starz series, they go all out with that stuff. I started watching Black Sails, and there's a lot of nudity in there too. And
I've heard Black Sails, is a new
Spartacus
fest.
might be worse than that. There's a ton of cock, ton of boobs,
A lot of wings in that show. It's
full
true.
frontal.
Right.
A lot. If you thought to yourself, I need to see a show with some wieners.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yo, get on Spartacus. Okay, now
There's
I
in
know.
fact an entire episode based off the size of a dude's dick. That is totally true. It's totally
and the
true.
horrible things that may happen to your dick if you don't follow orders. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Don't mess with the domino, yo. Don't mess with the domino.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
But
But
you
yeah,
need that quote on the poster. It's Spartacus, a whole lot of cock, John Bain.
there is. I'd stand by that quote.
B-A-N-E, John Bain.
Yes.
That's a lot of
Oh, so much cock.
You're a big guy. For you. Oh. But yes, it's pretty fun. The Twitch integration obviously means it's going to attract quite a few people to streaming it. It does add fun value, and it makes it a great spectator game, but in a sense, even if you're playing it single player, it's a spectator game anyway, because it is a management game. You send your guys in and you cheer them on. It's like, please fucking don't die. I invested so much money in you. I don't want you to... I spent so much money on your equipment and stuff. Another thing which kind of confused me about it, because again, the game doesn't really tell you, I thought that sending your gladiators into an arena had an associated cost, because it said price next to the list of gladiators. I'm like, oh, I don't want to send my expensive guy in because it'll cost me a lot of money. And then I thought, hang on a minute, this makes no sense. They're supposed to be my slaves. How could they cost me money? But actually, that's just a bad representation. All it means is the amount of money you've spent on them and how much you could sell them for later.
Gotcha.
So again, just another example of them, not the dev who did most of the work himself, which is very impressive. He composed most of the music himself. He did most of the art himself. He had a little bit of help and most of the program himself. Very impressive. But he was in his own little development bubble and didn't realize that some people wouldn't get that in the way that he did, which is probably again why the save feature isn't there.
Right.
That's the big caveat. Like, I would wait until that is there. It is important. It really is very important.
Yeah. I would love to be able to play that game and save instead of thinking to myself, man, I want to play Domina, but I only have like an hour.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't.
It sounds like one of those games that wouldn't have survived that well before the internet, because you need to be able to talk with other people to really work out how half the mechanics work.
Yeah, I think so. And there has been just this recent revival over the last 5 or so years of games which involve a lot of permadeath, and that being a selling point. And this game has that, no doubt about it. Your best gladiators can get decimated very easily.
Mm.
And it's tragic when it happens. Like, fuck, I spent so much time investing in you. God damn it. But other than that, though, it's a great piece of work. Very interesting. It's going to need a couple of patches, I think, to really get to where it needs to be. And that save feature has to be put in there. I'm not touching it again until it does. It's that simple. I don't like my time being wasted, my progress being lost that way. It's not okay. Right, so that was Domina.
Did any of you guys play Beat Cop?
I am going around to it, yeah.
No, not heard of that one.
I played Beat Cop.
Talk about Beat Cop. Tell
so,
us.
So Beat Cop is a game where you play Jack Kelly, a new cop.
No.
And
false. No. You're not a new cop. You're a detective. You were pulled off because you are accused of killing a dude and taking money
and stealing his diamonds.
Yes, and stealing his diamonds. And so you've been demoted to a beat cop, but you were, and everyone makes fun of you. It was your last day on the job, and then they got to you.
Can I play a saxophone in the background of this, of all of this? It's totally 80s cop show in a big way.
Oh yeah,
super, yeah.
So yeah, the most of the game is played on your beat, which is like one street. You patrol back and forth. There are like all of these shops, and it's up to you to keep the street safe, right? So on the surface level, each day it's like, all right, you have to write 12 tickets because they're up our asses about not getting enough money from tickets. So you gotta get 12 tickets out there.
Right.
And if you hear somebody yell, "Stop thief," you need to like handcuff a thief, right?
Chase him down.
You have to chase him down and handcuff him and all of that stuff. But on the like next level in, you also are working a street that has the mob and a gang on either side of it, and they are constantly like aggressing on each other. Very early on in the game, there's a body that's found, and neither of them will fess up that they've that they're even remotely involved. And so the game focuses a lot on you having a good rapport with all of the other people that run like the shops and things. So there are meters for like whether or not the mob likes you, whether or not the crew likes you, whether or not the police like you, but also whether or not the people like you that are on your beat, because you're trying to create a situation where you're acting within the law, assuming that you play this way, that you're acting within the law while also like trying to find out who done it, like who's like causing trouble on your street, right?
But also keeping your job.
Yes.
If you're getting papers, please vibes, you should be.
You should be, yeah.
It's a game about procedure, day-to-day procedure, and that's a lot of the meat of the game is doing that. Going through the process of giving out parking tickets. You got to give them out for the right reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you'll get yelled at if you tow a person for no reason or something.
Yeah. So there's an element of that, which again, very Papers, Please-esque, where you had to look at the passport and the documents and figure out whether or not something should go through or not. But then there's all these other events and moral choices that you're making and having to balance between staying inside the law, doing your job, but also keeping the street safe, which requires you to bend the rules a little bit. Or maybe you want to profit from it. So
yeah, you can be a straight up dirty cop if you want. You can, from day one, you can go to the crew and be like, "What's up? What you need?" Like they'll come to you. I think almost every day there's like a guy hanging out on the corner, and you can go to them and they'll be like, "Yo, you want to run drugs for us?" And you're like, "Yeah, if you want." Like if that's the sort of game that you want to play, you can do that. So, this game is very offensive, by the way.
Yes.
Like there is a lot going on in this game. Like the way that people refer to each other is very racially heavy.
Yeah.
When I was playing it, I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that they're talking about each other that way." But like,
it's set in the 80s in a kind of Detroit-like rundown street. It completely fits the theme. Just be aware of that going in. If you're not the sort of person that can tolerate that or does find that disturbing, then just know about it. It's similar. You remember This Is the Police as well, that came out came out last year. Also had quite a lot of offensive stuff in it, and some people didn't like the fact that it did. I think that a lot of these games are trying to show the gritty side of police work, especially when they're set in the past on, very tough beats and all that sort of thing.
Is there a mod so that you can replace your police character with the rabbit from Zootopia?
God, I wish.
I wish.
That's basically how I played my character while I was every time he said something sarcastic, I said it as though he really felt that way.
I haven't seen it. I should see it. I'm told I should see that movie.
Oh, Zootopia is so good.
It's such a good movie.
So good.
But yeah. So that game is. I was surprised. I saw a couple articles where people were like, "It's real sad that Beat Cop is such a bad game." I played a decent amount of it, and I was like, "I'm enjoying this game still." It's repetitive because it's like day to day, like tickets, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But
so was Papers, Please.
So was Papers, Please. Yeah, and that game was still very engaging. I think Beat Cop can be very engaging depending on how you play it. So, yeah.
I do mean to.
For you.
All right, what you got?
Had to like back stretch. I played a while ago and I can finally talk about it. Agents of Mayhem.
Oh yes, the embargo on the previews did lift quite recently.
Yes,
I've seen mixed impressions of this. Some people really digging it, some people not so much.
Yeah, so
tell me about it.
Before we get into the actual gameplay, the setup for this one is it's in the Saints Row world, and it is basically one night the world is attacked by this organization called Legion, run by some dude called the Morning Star, and his number one lieutenant goes rogue and makes her own faction to stop him. And so this lady Persephone hires all of the like biggest badasses on Earth to fight this guy, which includes some Saints Row characters, which includes some new characters, everything from a girl who's essentially like Hispanic Tracer with like a little like robot that follows her, to a roller derby badass chick who like carries a machine gun or like a Gatling gun, to like a Yakuza dude, to like essentially all the wonderful tropes of Saints Row characters that you've ever experienced are in this game. And so it plays very, very much like a Saints Row game, except now you have the wealth and power of like a world organization, and you can go to like Seoul, South Korea. Like you're doing different, bigger things, but at the end of the day, it is,
In terms of Saints Row, though, we are talking more like Saints Row 4, not 2 and 3. Like, if you're expecting
it's more
GTA...
Like it's more like, it's less superhero powers and more like, the biggest superhero power you have is the ability to triple jump. They're like, fuck double jumping, you can triple jump.
Okay.
So that's it. Some characters can climb buildings. Like, the one character is is a former drill sergeant. And so she can like use a knife and climb up the side of a building, but not all characters can do that. The basic premise of the game is that you choose 3 characters to play for every mission, and there's an open world thing, but you're choosing 3 characters to switch in between, and you can switch between those characters on the fly for every mission you do. So while there are many, many characters in the game, you're choosing between which 3 you want to use for that particular event. And so, the one is this like badass bow and arrow user. There's one guy who's basically Johnny Cage, and he's like a big Hollywood hotshot. There's all these different characters you can do. At the end of the day, though, it is from the open world to like walking up to little spinning, glowing things that initiate missions. It is straight up it is Saints Row. The biggest thing that I think for me is the biggest detriment to it all, this game, while playing it, the entire time I was thinking, this is the perfect multiplayer game. Instead of switching between 3, you can have 3 people playing, or you can have 2 people playing, and you can switch between I was like, this is great, this will be so good. Straight up, it's only single player. So
they clearly went into it not designing it that way at all. Yeah. And if I'm completely honest, there are already a ton of co-op games that do this shit. Like, you got different classes with preset loadouts and like 2 or 3 abilities and maybe an ultimate. Yeah. That's been done to death already. Are people seriously wanting that?
this is a game where it's you're playing as the 3 characters, and each character has a bar that fills. So you have a special ability you can activate, and then like your ultimate ability. So for example, I'm trying to think of some of the more interesting ones. The one that comes to mind right now is that the roller derby girl, her special is that she can fire her Gatling gun without having to like cool it down, and then her ultimate is that she just can run into people and like kill guys as she hits them. And so she like skates around the map, and it's pretty fun. But yeah, it's essentially, it has that Overwatchy feel to it, where it's like, okay, like everything's very bright and chipper, and even though the world is like under attack by this evil organization, everything is very, very like happy-go-lucky looking. It has that like, it's a positive future outlook to it, and then all the characters feel kind of like that multiplayer game trope characters, like all the ones like, there's that character and there's that character and there's that character.
This whole big old ensemble loadout cast thing that's happening increasingly over the last few years.
And it's a game that still at its core is very Saints Row, in that it's silly and crazy and like over the top, and everything about it is like wacky and weird and fun. And it's like, okay, that's awesome. But in my experience, the most fun I've had playing the Saints Row games have been when it's been weird, wacky, crazy fun with another person. And so it's like, we can experience this together. And the problem that I have with this is they have zero intention, as far as I'm aware, of making this multiplayer. So literally, it's the experience is you are playing by yourself, 3 characters that you choose from this wide array of characters, and just going through the stories and the missions. But it like, everything's there to make this a great multiplayer game. And I feel like it's like a missed opportunity. Like I feel like at the end of the day, there's something there. It's like, this would be great to play with another person, like one other person, and like co-op this thing. And
it seems impossible though. Like if I'm looking at the way that this is designed, considering that there are certain characters that have certain abilities to traverse certain obstacles, if you split those 3 characters out into 3 people, then you wouldn't be able to progress as a certain character. You would also have to think about, it's 3 times the firepower. You're able to use all abilities at once rather than having to switch between characters to do that. Like, it changes the entire nature of the game.
That's exactly what they said. Yeah. In their mind, the design philosophy of the game was that it's 1 player and 1 player switching between these characters. I think...
Oh, like Trine style.
Yeah, I think it's
actually,
just...
that's a very good point. Yeah, it bringing up Trine, even though it's a very different genre, that you are all the 3 characters and you switch between them to...
Trine did multiplayer
it did,
that way.
But it also was very clever with how it did it. Like, it was a completely different game in multiplayer because you had to figure out how to get all 3 people across the obstacles. So you do clever shit like using the wizard to levitate a box, and then everyone gets to the box and floats across that way. If you did that, of course, that wouldn't work in the single player.
But, everything else that I played, one mission is you got drunk, and so you have to kind of oh my god, what's the name of that? Hangover your way back through a level, which is pretty fun. There's one mission where you take on like an evil mad scientist doctor, and like the battle is really clever because he has an orb that protects him, and so you have to take out the base around him to bring down the orb, and then use shit against him, like use his own lasers and shit. Like, it's everything about it is the same Saints Row, like, oh boy, we're gonna get real weird with it, which is super fun. But yeah, this might be my own personal thing. Like, in my mind, I just really, really wished that it continued that you can play with friends, and that's just not the case in this one. So I'll still play it, and I'm sure I'll have a ton of fun, but I just wish that they had included it or an option to do so. But you're right, TB. In everything they said, they were like, nothing about this game is designed to even make that a possibility in the future. If we do a second one, sure, we'll look into that, but don't expect it for this one. And so there you go. But other than that, like, it's really hard to describe it as anything different than, if you love Saints Row, you will love this game. That's really at the core what it is.
And I'm looking at the gameplay footage, and it really sort of highlights, I think, the difference between the way that me and you approach games, Jesse, because I'm looking at that and there's like, this is not like Saints Row. But you seem to be approaching it as, it's like Saints Row in terms of feel, theme, overall atmosphere, crazy character design, amusing dialogue, not so questing. Yes. Mechanically, this doesn't look all that similar to Saints Row at all.
No, you're absolutely right. Mechanically, it is not. Mechanically, there are every time you complete missions, you're getting unlocked for your characters and new skins and new like weapon upgrades and little cards that can like change stuff. You summon vehicles to come help you. But at the end of the day, the world and the feel and the vibe and what you're like, I think you're absolutely right. We're just looking at it at different angles, but it's if you're looking for a feel of a game, it feels very much like Saints Row.
Right.
It looked like it had a bit of a Crackdown feel to me from the footage. Is that relevant?
I got a little bit of a vibe from that, although it looks like you don't have anywhere near as much sort of momentum and superhero-like powers like you did in Crackdown. I'm still waiting on Crackdown 3 and hoping it won't suck.
Is there any news on Crackdown 3?
There was something recently. What was the latest on Crackdown 3? Because that has been delayed forever. I mean, that was supposed to come out early in the Xbox One's lifespan. Yeah, all sorts of shit has happened then. They're saying 2017 right now. It's been delayed and delayed and delayed. It could potentially be a disaster. Games that get delayed this much do tend to lose the plot, I guess.
I don't know why I'm so hyped for it as well, as the second one was a bit shite.
But, it sucked. Yeah.
I don't know, there's just something, I feel like I want more bloody Crackdown.
I do.
Please, Microsoft.
Just good Crackdown, yeah.
Yes, the good stuff.
There was a lot of cool stuff going on with that one. It's interesting that game was mostly bought because it had the Halo 3 beta, I think.
Oh, God, I'd forgotten that, yes.
Either the Halo 3 beta or the Halo ODST beta or something like that. It was one of the two. That's the only reason people bought it.
Hell.
I was like, oh, you get a free game with this beta. It's like, no, Crackdown 3. Crackdown's actually really, really good. You should play it. Yeah. I don't know about this. Sorry,
so when else have they done that? Basically sold a game on the back of a demo you got for something far more
They used to do that with movies all the time, where it'd be like, go see this shitty movie so you can go see the new Star Wars trailer.
Yes,
yeah, that's true.
That was one.
Yeah,
I think there was maybe God of War Ascension had some sort of multiplayer or just beta that you could get with another game.
Was it Wolf of the Battlefield Commando 3 on Xbox Live got you the beta for, I think, Super Street Fighter 2 HD or something?
Oh wow, yeah, that's definitely going back a bit. Yeah, you're right though. Yeah, it's happened a few times. It often happens when they think, oh god, oh yes, of course, Zone of Enders. That's maybe the biggest example ever. The Metal Gear Solid 2 demo.
Yeah, that was Metal Gear Solid 2, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. My God.
Yep, that game sold entirely off the back of that, pretty much.
Yeah.
Dragon's Dogma apparently had a Resident Evil 6 demo. Well,
oh, I did not know that. Oh.
That wasn't much of a selling point, was it? But
no.
Yeah.
Because the thing with Crackdown was the game itself ended up being so much fun.
It was great. The different vehicles that you could upgrade with like rocket boosters and ramp that you just like smash through cars and drive up walls. And I remember the big challenge being climb the top of the biggest tower in the game and get enough agility and abilities to do it. That was a big deal, being able to do that.
And then you could get, say, another achievement for diving off right into a little swimming pool just at the bottom.
Yep.
My God. Actual fun achievements. Who remembers those? Wow.
That and Prototype. Yeah, Prototype let you do a lot of stuff like that too. A lot more violent, that one. It's like I'm hacking an entire city to death, but those big kind of Hulk Ultimate Destruction-like games. I actually, if I recall correctly, there were guys from that game on both of those, on Crackdown and on Prototype. So I think that might have a lot to do with it.
That surprised me, actually, yeah. Well,
yeah, well, I'm interested in having a look at Agents of Mayhem. I've got to say, like, the footage does not look that enjoyable to me, but I'm willing to give it a try.
I will say, I'm not sure what footage you just used, but I will say the trailer they showed at the event I was at was like not nearly as good as and compelling as the actual gameplay was.
I watched some gameplay that was quite recent.
Yeah, like I just had more fun playing than I had watching the like demonstration of like, this is what the game's like. I was like, and then playing was actually fun. And I think it's the idea that you can approach everything a little bit like differently because you can choose whatever characters you want. And so you can choose the characters like the bow assassin who can stay way in the back and just snipe dudes, or you can choose the character who is the flashy like machine gun wielding dude who like runs up in their faces and like bashes them in the face. So, you know, and because it's that open world vibe, you can get around however you want. Like, I think it's one of those games that it's what you make of it kind of deals. But
maybe then
again, I don't know because I only played so much of it, so we'll see when it launches. But
Yeah.
it has half a year, so
It does, yeah. There's a lot of previews out of this game right now, and a lot of people have different takes on it. Some people hate it. For a couple of ones I read, hate it. Some people really love it. I don't know. I will have to try it myself. But
Yeah.
I love divisive games because they're interesting to talk about.
Yeah.
As we've certainly experienced over the last couple of weeks, and we're about to experience again by the looks of it. And we'll bring that up in the news in the third hour of the show. But yeah, so Yooka Laylee may very well be on the agenda. I believe Krendor was demanding that we let him on the show next week to talk about it.
that will be about
Fair enough.
that'll be super fair and balanced, guys. It will
Oh
be
yeah,
the
absolutely.
most fair review of this game ever.
People, Krendor was saying, actually it was Strippin, because, you know, he is an evil person, said, you should get Krendor and Jim Sterling on to fight to the death.
Oh my
over
god,
this
I will
game.
take. You know what? If you need me to take a break, that's the
Yeah, I
episode.
was gonna say if I got to bow out
Yeah,
for
maybe.
that
bow
fight
out.
to
I
happen.
would love to make that happen.
I just want to see Krendor in an actual debate. That would be brilliant.
He'd just be like, wrong, wrong, what, wrong.
There probably would be a lot of that. Yeah, so I'm intrigued. Anyway, we'll talk about more about that in the third hour of the show. I don't want to do too much of that. Is there anything else that people have been playing this week that they would like to bring up?
I don't think so.
Oh, I'm doing Breath of the Wild. Still playing bloody Dreamquest.
Yep.
Star Realms I still get into occasionally.
Oh, I love Star Realms,
so-
both the physical and the implementation on
I play a
PC.
friend with the physical one, so I have to make sure I'm on the top of my game because I must never lose. I lose all the bloody time, but I must never lose.
My wife kicks my ass at that game. I'm just terrible. I think it comes down to the fact that I go after these ridiculous builds. I'm like, aha, my master plan will be complete. And of course, I never managed to get all the cards to make everything fall into place. So the more practical, pragmatic player just beats me down. Because like, well, I just got a bunch of decent stuff and killed you with it. So it's like,
Right.
but in
But when
20
it
turns,
does
my
come
master
off,
plan.
It's amazing. On
Yes.
those rare occasions when you end up with 93 buy and 472 attack, and you're like, yeah. That's
Damn
it.
right. Good
I'm
game.
the master. I may have lost 15 to get here, but yeah.
Yeah. When we finally meet up, I'm in the UK sometime in June. I should, I believe I'll try and drag Dan into it. We should do some Star Realms.
Yes.
That'd be great, wouldn't it? Yeah.
You should.
I'll bring
Absolutely.
my set over. Maybe that's a lot of fun. Great card game. Decent implementation digitally as well. Not perfect, but pretty good.
Yeah, solid enough. I mean,
Yeah.
the only other thing I've tried to play is the Dark Souls 3 latest DLC.
Oh my
Ah,
The
god.
Ringed
yes.
City.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And I've only had a very quick bash at it, so I'm trying to avoid all the sort of information so I don't get it spoiled. But
Right.
I haven't played Dark Souls 2 for a couple of months, and I've played a lot of Breath of the Wild recently, and I'm finding a massive disconnect. All the buttons are wrong. Oh god, I can't get it moving properly. Why is it running at 60 frames a second? It's blowing my mind. You know, I'm getting real culture shock from it. at the
It's
moment.
great. It's
Yeah.
great.
I've heard it's
Um,
FromSoft usually do pretty amazing DLC. I mean, the Bloodborne stuff must be up there with some of the best DLC ever released. But
Yeah.
the Ashes of Ariandel were a bit short. I don't know. I
Short.
don't think that was great.
I heard there wasn't just a whole lot to it. Like it just didn't feel very meaty.
Yeah.
Substantial.
I
Yeah.
think that's it. It feels a bit slight. Yeah, I think
Mm.
that is a perfect description of it. Apparently, the Ringed City is really amazing.
Yeah, people are being told not to even attempt it unless they're soul level 125 or something crazy. And I'm just
Bloody-
like,
That's end game content. Like,
yeah. Because it's like basically the last piece of Dark Souls anything that we're being told we're ever going to get, right? So it's like, here's the final gauntlet, man. Enjoy, So I guess that's fitting.
I wonder where they'll go to next. You know they'll do an action RPG that feels like Souls and probably has several of the same animations in. But
There's already-
Cyber Souls?
Mm.
They can't really do Japanese Souls now because Nio has kind of sewn that one up temporarily.
Yeah. Neo, or however the hell you pronounce it, did well. It's probably one of the first Souls-like or Soulsborne games. Yeah, a couple of people.
Soulsborne.
Yeah, Soulsborne.
That's the next one. Oh, that's the next franchise. Soulsborne.
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 we'll see where they go with it. There's been a couple of attempts to emulate it. I remember Lords of the Fallen was okay, but not great.
Yeah.
Not a bad attempt, but Neo is very good, of course. There's another one coming out. Is it called what? The Surge, I think, which is a very it's a futuristic cybernetic Souls.
Yes, I only heard of that. Yeah, very recently. Actually, I've forgotten about that.
Yeah,
That could be the Cyber Souls. Yeah.
Indeed, and of course, there's the side-scrolling. There was the top-down Dark Mouse, and there was the side-scroller Salt and Sanctuary.
Salt Sanctuary.
Salt and Sanctuary. Yeah.
Um,
There hasn't been a port for Bloodborne, right?
Probably
Nope.
never going to happen.
PS4
Sony
exclusive.
funded it.
Only money.
Yeah, Sony funded it. So, which really sucks because of course it is. It really ties that game down, and even on PS4 Pro, it still has some problems in some areas, in terms of both frame pacing and frame rate.
That would be astonishing at 60 frames per
It
second.
would.
It is a real kick in the teeth.
Uh-huh.
Never mind.
It is what it is. Perhaps the more games that get locked that way, the more people will wake up, sheeple, and realize the benefits of that.
But I think you'll find the human eye cannot actually perceive more than 12 frames a second. Oh, God.
Yeah, I sit here with my 144 hertz monitor and a goblet of fine wine. Ha, peasants. Ah. What can I say? I'm just woke, or whatever the kids are saying these days.
So woke.
Indeed.
So woke.
Whatever the hell that means.
Jesus Christ.
Something I actually played a couple of weeks ago and never got around to mentioning. The beta's currently closed right now, and they bring this down for very limited betas every once in a while as Lawbreakers, which I think some of us played at PAX a year or two ago.
I still have never played that, but I've heard you guys talk about it a lot.
It's coming along well. I played the recent multiplayer beta of Lawbreakers. It looks, I try to keep track of the damn business model because it keeps changing. Like at one point people said it's going to be a free-to-play game. And other people say, no, it's going to be a buy-in game. It's a buy once kind of thing. I don't know what its current business model is. Is it free-to-play or not? Because no, it's no longer free-to-play as of March 2016. They're going down the Overwatch route with it. Unless they've changed it again since then. I'm kind of happy that they're going down that route. I think buy once is better. But they implemented Overwatch-like cosmetic loot boxes in it. There was no way to buy them. You could only get them through play. They'll probably put a way to buy them in because, Nexon is publishing it, for God's sake. It'll happen. But there were all sorts of things. New skins, weapon camos, armor camos, tons of different nice little pieces of cosmetic stuff. The gameplay itself, it's just more polished than it was. They added a load of new classes in. When I last played it, they only had 4. They now have either 7 or 8, I think. So there was a bunch of different stuff to try, and also a different game mode, which is kind of like a turf war style thing. And it seems like there's a overall metagame aspect to it as well. Kind of like For Honors, but hopefully less annoying, whereby the law and the breakers, the kind of futuristic cops and robbers bullshit are fighting over territory in a futuristic world where gravity broke for some reason. And that itself, it's
broke gravity? Come on.
Yep, someone broke.
Who's been playing with it?
I left you alone for 5 minutes.
You've smeared jam on gravity, and now it doesn't work anymore.
It's all broken. It's a key mechanic in the game, actually. There's parts of the levels where there's just no gravity, so you fight in 0G, which is shit tons of fun. You can fire your weapon backwards to give you momentum forwards, which is fucking awesome. And of course, you can hit people behind you with it too. I'd never seen that done in a game. That was pretty neat. But yeah, there's about 7 or 8 classes now. A lot of people are going to compare this to Overwatch because, of course, you play heroes and they have abilities, but it's way more arena. It leans more to the arena shooter end than it does to the team-based end. Like, there's no true support hero. Everybody can fight as well as everybody else, just in different ways. You can kill an entire team on your own. Sure, no problem. There are some matchups where you might be slightly at a disadvantage, but it's not going to be, I'm a Symmetra and I came around a corner and he is a fucking Roadhog, so I'm dead automatically. That's not how it works. It's more skill-focused than it is class-focused, which I think is a good thing, because why try and clone what Overwatch is already doing really well, unless you're Paladins and you do it for free, right? So they decided we're going to lean in one way or another. We're going to make it kind of more like Unreal Tournament. Everything has alt fires and there's a lot of movement-based abilities. I still love the assassin class in that game, who has a a laser grapple that lets you swing through the level at incredible speeds. It even lets you, if you fall off the level, you can even grab and pull yourself back up before you die, which is great. They've made some other changes. It used to be that you could only get health back by going to a health station halfway across the map, which was stupid, and slowed the game down completely. There are now some health pickups, but in limited places. It just feels more polished in general. The gunplay still feels great. The character design, it's a bit edgelordy. I'll have to say that, because it's Epic Games. They like their shiny, edgy Gears of War-esque kind of characters. They've still done it here as well, but I like the gameplay. I think it's super slick. So I have no idea if it's going to be successful or not, because it's entering a very crowded market, and of course there's a big risk that it'll be overshadowed by Overwatch. At least it's not coming out within the same year that it did. It will not be a Battleborn.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Still sad about that. But of course, they're also dealing with the fact that Quake Champions is on the way, which...
Oh, God, I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah. Leans even more to the arena shooter side of things, because it's Quake, but you still have an ability. It has classes, but you've got an ability. Like, it's not fully ability oriented. There are no ultimates or anything like that. So it's so interesting to see all these different games falling at different parts of the spectrum, because hero shooter is now a thing. And most games, even, the last few COD games have included hero shooter-like elements to them. Classes and abilities and stuff like that. So I would be interested to see how many other games we get and where they are on that spectrum and what ends up being, I guess, the thing that wins out. Or whether or not these games can coexist. Because they are so different and they can just appeal to different kinds of player.
Right.
It's good to have choice. So I've said time and again, don't go on for this. Don't shame clones. Don't shame this game's like another game. Good. That's how a genre is made. We need more of that. For God's sake.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. It pretty much covers everything that we've been playing by the looks of it. I got my Farrier yak. It's in the background right there. No, I don't think anyone's noticed it yet. It's just little in the background right there on the window. My little Farrier yak plush is sitting right there next to Kylo Ren shuttle. It's just been silently judging you this entire time. Well, when we come back, we'll be talking about the news, which is less of news and more of there's things going on. We'll see what happens. Games have been released. Some people don't like them. Oh. Some people do. There are disagreements.
Wow.
On the internet. No consensus. Terrible.
We'll have none of it.
Absolutely not. Oh dear. We'll have Evangelist Grender on next week to do that. But in the meantime, we'll talk a little bit about it, having barely played it, and of course a couple of other things as well. You're watching the Co-Optional Podcast. We'll be right back after the break. Don't go anywhere. Please. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-Optional Podcast. Yes. Yep, more music from Domina. Very good stuff from Big Nick. Check him out, bignick.bandcamp.com. BIGNIC.bandcamp.com. Go listen to his music. It's all really, really good. And you can check it out also on Spotify, if you so desire. It's all so good. That was seriously funky, crazy Roman gladiator stuff. Unexpectedly, gotta say. Great stuff. Anyway, let's dive into the news. It's going to be something of a grab bag this week, because I don't think there's any particular topic that is worthy of, 30 minutes discussion, but there's definitely a couple of little ones.
Who knows with this podcast? We can
you never know.
Topic and 45 minutes later be like, what the fuck are we talking about?
That is very, very true indeed. Brief start with a mention that PAX Unplugged, which was the first board game and tabletop only PAX, the tickets are going on sale on May the 3rd. So if you
when is
wish,
that this year? November.
November, yes. They're going on sale pretty damn early. I mean, PAX sells out pretty early anyway. This is their first. Yes, it's in Philly. It's their first ever attempt to do a tabletop only show. Tabletop's been a part of PAX for quite some time, which actually makes me hope that they won't cut back on the amount of tabletop stuff in other PAXs.
I mean, that's what they did at East. East had very few tabletop stuff.
That's what I heard, yeah. Maybe they'll specialize like West and say West has more or South has more, because obviously there are less big games at South. We'll see kind of a hybrid there. But yeah, November 17th to the 19th at the Pennsylvania Convention Center in Philadelphia. I do intend to go to this if I can. I've been missing out on all this stuff. I've been wanting to go to Gen Con for God knows how long, so this might be a possibility. Quite cheap for this. 3-day
It's
pass,
3
$60.
days, yeah.
Single day, $25. Sunday kids badge for 6 to 12-year-olds is $10. So I assume they're going to have like a Sunday family day, as it were.
3 days is just enough time to get through a game of Talisman. So that's that's great.
You get at least half a session of Twilight Imperium for that one. Or maybe learn the rules to Game of Thrones in that time.
Yeah, you could probably get
Oh
all
my
Game of Thrones
god,
rules
never
together.
again.
Not gonna happen.
Next time we're having Mathis teach us. He
I
knows.
have it right there. And every time I see it, I'm like, you motherfucker.
Fuck it, yeah. We wasted hours trying to figure that one out. Yep, cool to see that. Obviously increasing popularity now in America, as well as the big surge in Europe towards board gaming and card gaming, which I'm very pleased of. I want to see more of that. It's very cool.
I've got the Dark Souls board game on order, actually.
So do
I'm
I.
looking
Oh,
forward
so
to
do
that.
I.
Yeah. Well, I kickstarted that. Looks
Yeah.
like it's by the guys that make Guild Ball, which is a
Yep.
pretty cool game. I also have the Bloodborne card game. I own that. That's pretty interesting.
That exists.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
So it's a co-op card
Damn
game,
World.
except you're supposed to kind of be the last one standing, so you kind of got to fuck the other guys over to run away with the treasure at the end after you've beaten the boss, assuming you didn't all die in the first place. So it's interesting. A lot of cool board games, and inspired, of course, by video games at this point.
It sounds like it could be a ton of fun. I hope, and I think this is what it'll end up being, that it's just like chilling and playing board games and like having a good old time instead of like come to our panel to learn how to board game or like stuff like that. I
Right.
just want it to be like, come just effing hang out and let's play games and be. I'd go to that, just like a chill weekend.
I think they will go in all directions with it. There'll be tournament areas for the people who are seriously into stuff like Magic the Gathering and X-Wing, and I wonder if they'll do. Warhammer's got to have a presence there, surely, but you know how Games Workshop gets, so maybe not.
Right.
And then there'll be a more casual area, and I mean, there should be panels, right? Talking about things like game design, how to. There's so many questions about how do I deal with a gamer group where we really want rid of a guy, you know, or how do I engage people? How do I teach board games in particular to people? Because that's a huge obstacle to a lot of
Yeah.
people. So I think that they'll probably do that. All right. So yeah, that's PAX Unplugged. That's pretty cool. So tickets are now going to be on sale at just the start of May. So keep an eye out for that, because PAX does tend to sell out pretty quickly. We'll see whether or not this one is successful. It's their first attempt at this. So moving on, Dodge, it looks like you had topic to go for. What you got?
I was gonna say, can we talk about the Persona 5 stuff?
Sure. Okay.
Come on.
All right, so Persona 5 came out today, the English version of it, and, well, Japan being Japan, they
They don't give a shit, yo. They never will.
They don't really understand or don't care about streaming, whether it be YouTube or whether it be live streaming. More so than any other company, Japanese publishers tend to try and impose restrictions on those things, and are known for being very aggressive with copyright strikes. And it's Nintendo, obviously, probably the worst example of that. But there are certainly others. You know, Sega, as you're aware, a few years ago, almost took my channel down completely. Took down a bunch of others, boycotting them to this day. Bastards. Still never apologized. And we even had issues with Square Enix, the Japanese end of Square Enix. Like, the Western side of Square Enix doesn't restrict this stuff at all, but when Dragon Quest Heroes popped up, they were trying to put streaming limitations on that too. Persona 5 apparently does not let you do PlayStation 4 share streaming at all. It locks the whole game down, so I'm told. Of course, that doesn't stop anybody, because it's very easy to stream anyway with a capture device, but Atlas put out a statement saying that they were putting restrictions and limits on stuff. And what was interesting about these limits is they admitted flat out that it was the Japanese wing, that they literally said, our masters in Japan are very wary about it. That's a quote, direct quote from Atlas's very own website.
Yeah.
They said, this being a Japanese title with a single playthrough story means our masters in Japan are very wary about it. Sharing is
They
currently
sound like
blocked
emissaries
natively.
from Civilization or something.
Yes. It's all right. Eventually, I'll get Cassius Belli to strike back at the Japanese masters. So they put limitations on video content. They asked that people do not spoil I'm not going to give the specific date out because that in itself is a spoiler. Idiots! We obviously, if I give the specific, bear in mind the Persona games will work on a date system, so they go through a year usually. So specific events happen on different days. They gave out and they said, please don't show this. But yeah, so I know something major's going to happen then now. Thanks, dudes. So I'll just say,
Great work, lads.
past a certain point in the middle of the year is all I'll say. That's limiting spoilers as much as I can. If you read the statement, you'll be told that specifically. So they don't want you to stream past that. They don't want you to show video past that. They said they want the videos to be limited to at most 90 minutes long each. No major story spoilers. They said they'd leave that up to your good judgment. Like, we're just like, well, okay. You can grab footage from certain boss fights. Don't capture footage from the other major boss fights. Don't focus solely on cutscenes and animated scenes. Must predominantly feature gameplay. You can post straight gameplay or have commentary. I mean, a lot of this actually contradicts itself. And this is so strange because this is not an embargo agreement. This is not something that reviewers or streamers signed up to.
It's not like anybody's signed anything.
No, we have there is no requirement for us to abide by this at all, except they have threatened in big bold letters, if you decide to violate this, you risk being issued content ID claims or worse, a channel strike and account suspension. That would be unprecedented on Twitch. On YouTube, that's pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
And
they also released that today after people were already streaming it. So.
It's bizarre need to control the audience. It just doesn't work like that.
And it's like that with, like, the minute you say, you cannot do this. Not like, man, we really would hate it if you guys, like, spoiled this stuff. Like, this game really important to us. And, like, you know, just be careful with what you show. Instead, they're like, don't do it or we will punish you for it. You learn that very young, but that's just like, fuck it, I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
That is 100% what's going to happen. I just think, like, hearing all that stuff, the first thing I thought of was like, who's the first person that's going to be like, I'm going to test and see if they do take me down? Because
people are already doing it, like, right now.
Yeah, like, it's so dumb. And I think we talked about this during the break. Persona is a franchise that, for as much as we've talked about it, it's not really in the ethos of, like, American and Western gaming. It's sort of like this idea of just like,
oh, it's very Japanese focused.
Yeah, and not many, like, the people who play it know Persona is like a badass franchise. It's pretty cool, but not many people have played it that I'm aware of.
It's not a full-on mainstream game, but it blew up sort of in the niche group of particular gamers in a huge way around 4. If I recall correctly. That was its big surge.
Yeah, and this is that Persona game where every review has been like, this is it. This is phenomenal. This changes the game. This is so good. And it reminds me, again, going back to Witcher. Witcher 1 and 2 were just sort of out there in the ether, just existed. Witcher 3 comes out, everyone's like, what the fuck is this franchise?
Yeah,
and
it
suddenly
broke into
everyone's
mainstream.
in.
And Persona 5 probably will be the time when it breaks into major mainstream credibility and gets out of that.
Unless shit like this happens, unless they literally fuck themselves over. Like, this is the game that could have changed the world for you. And you're like, nah, we don't want people to see it, which is crazy to me. So, yeah.
Hell, the only reason I even knew about Persona 4 was the fact that the Giant Bomb did an endurance run of it. They streamed the whole game.
Right.
That's the only I've never even played it. I probably wouldn't have even bought a PlayStation Vita were it not for all of that. Because that's not the kind of game I usually play at all.
Yeah, so, like, Sam and JP got to do, like, a brief, like, Final Fantasy 15 stream, and we got to do, like, the Nier Automata stream. And the only reason that we were able to do those is because there's, like, a specific team of a couple of people at Square right now that are vouching for streamers.
Mm-hmm.
There's, like, a specific group that they've put together at the Western branch of Square Enix that's like, you guys need to fucking catch up. Like this is important now. You need to, like, be receptive to this and not so scared of it, because it's like, it can change the game for you if you can stop being so fucking weird, right?
It's
the
Nintendo argument all over again.
It is.
I mean, I can understand the principle of saying, "Oh, you don't want the information out there, spoil the game for people, they might not buy it." But if people want the game spoiled for them, they will go and bloody find it. You know, the internet exists these days. You know?
I mean, the tweet with the statement is full of spoilers because people reply with spoilers. Of course they did. You can't stop that. We've talked about the idea of companies trying to prevent spoilers past launch day before. It is impossible. It is totally
it's out there.
You're gonna do it pre-launch, cool. You've got complete control of your product at that point. But once it's out, nope. Now you can't do anything. Stop trying. You're wasting time and you're generating consumer ire and content producer ire towards you. It's like, all right, cool. We won't stream anything you ever made ever again. Then there's your free marketing out the damn window.
It's so crazy to think that it needs to be said over and over and over again to companies that, in case you weren't aware, the vast majority of people watching streams of games won't watch all of it. They'll go out and buy the game themselves and be like, that's awesome, I want to play that. And those people who do continue to watch, for most of them, they couldn't or wouldn't have bought your game anyway. They're just there to see what the game was about.
Yeah.
But they weren't interested in paying money for it to begin with.
Yeah.
Like,
and if they're sitting through it, they probably because they couldn't actually afford to buy the game and just really want it. You know?
And it's only on the PlayStation platform.
Anything.
Maybe they're on, most stream viewers are on PC.
Yeah.
So, that game is now on PC and it never will be. So it's not like someone that just owns a PC could even play it anyway. It comes back though. It's the same fucking argument with piracy, except this is even. No, this isn't illegal at all. What's happening here with streaming. So, it's a lost sale. No, you can't prove that. You can't.
Yeah,
and with so many companies now jumping right on the bandwagon of using Twitch as a marketing tool and understanding, as they have for years on YouTube, that this stuff is very important in terms of getting their game out there. It's completely regressive, and it is just a few holdout companies in Japan that are enforcing this. There is no Western company that would dare at this point because they know they get utterly crapped on. Now, the last person to even propose something like this was Phil Fish, and then he went into hiding for like half a decade. And he had something of a point in saying that, okay, you're streaming my entire game for free, and I don't see a penny of that. It's like, okay, you have a little bit of a point, but you don't seem to realize that the amount of value you're getting out of that is far beyond any lost revenue. Because really, if you're making a game, people should want to play it after they watch parts of it. And if you fail to do that, you've failed to make a good game in the first place. Or that person was never going to buy it to begin with because they weren't interested. It's not a lost sale in any way. The only way you've lost a sale is because your game itself wasn't the kind of thing that they wanted. Are you suggesting you should just trick people?
I think conversations like that have been very beneficial to like the whole ecosystem, right? Because like a lot of us, I think now are much more aware of, when I play a game, I should in the description always have a link so people know where to buy the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like things like that I think a lot of us weren't really thinking about until these sorts of conversations happened, right? So
and you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And that's something that on our end, there's always room. Like, we all have room for improvement on how to make this community work. But it's like the conversation, you're absolutely right. The conversation of like, well, maybe put a link to our game so people can buy it when they're watching your video. It might be helpful. It's like, sure, I literally have no problem promoting a game that I'm enjoying
of course not.
To the world. Like, that's not an issue. Like, as long as you're willing to talk with me and not be like, you fucked everything up, delete it. Like, come on. Like, we're all in this together, yo. Don't be a dick about it.
Yeah. And they got to be careful because some of this stuff is very much infringing on the right of fair use. No doubt. If they start to throw this sort of stuff at someone that makes a critique of the game and happens to feature a scene that they don't want them to feature and they strike that is a big deal. I mean, what they're doing is essentially illegal at that point. It's unethical, no doubt. In some cases, flat out illegal if it ever got to court, which of course it never will. But then you've got the stuff like a Let's Play, in some cases may be protected by fair use, and in some cases may not. And a lot of it comes down to how you did the Let's Play, the extent of it. They are providing limitations here. In reality, they do have the right to take down, like, say I post the whole game on YouTube or Twitch. They have the right to strike that. They have the right to issue a DMCA.
Yeah, of course.
I also have the right to counterclaim it. But the thing is that there is an understanding that people don't do that. because it's fucking dumb. It doesn't help. It doesn't benefit anybody. Pretty much every publisher has said, this is not a hill worth dying on. And more to the point, we're benefiting from this. We're not having to pay a penny. And yet we're getting tons of exposure. But there's these few companies that are just stuck in their ways all the way back there.
It's weird, it's like that little sort of holdout of a few Japanese corporations that just refuse to even attempt to understand any culture outside their own immediate corporate sphere. I don't know.
Yeah, you think Dark Souls
counterproductive
would have been anywhere near as successful if not for YouTube videos and streams?
My God.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
No one even knew what Demon's Souls was. Like, there had to be a campaign to even bring it over to the West. There was no intention to make a Western version. It was things like YouTube videos that was like, oh, we got this game, you know, it's amazing, you know, we should bring it up to the West and stuff. When it came to getting Dark Souls on PC, there was a huge petition, and I made a video that got 750,000 views. It was like, bring Dark Souls to PC.
Yeah.
It does contribute to some extent. There's no doubt about it. It's just backwards thinking. You're not earning anything. You're not getting anything out of this. If you were being directly deprived profits, I'd understand. But you can't prove that you are. And more often than not, it's the opposite of that.
Yep.
So it's silly. I don't stream console stuff anyway, but if I did, I'd completely ignore this. I was like, come at me. Give it a try. See what happens.
Also, if you're trying to sell stuff to people, don't antagonize them.
No.
That doesn't really help. You know, you'd have thought that was fairly obvious, really, wouldn't you?
This shit just blows up everywhere. It always is. There's no time when this has ever happened when it hasn't blown up into a complete shitstorm for the company. When has a company ever won from this?
Yeah.
Never. It's never happened.
And as Dodger said, we've now got the Streisand effect of there's probably 100 bloody streams going on of it right this second.
There's quite a few.
There are, yeah.
Yep. And of course,
everyone's testing it right now. Like, come mess with me, because if you do, that makes me even bigger. Like, all it does is help the streamers at this point. Like,
if they become famous because they're the underdog, they're the little guy. Most people will view them that way. So yeah, they will benefit from that. And honestly, if you do it as a herd as well, it's like, oh, you want to take us all down? Try it. See what happens.
Yeah.
But it's sad because, like, wow, you know, I feel salty now towards that company. I don't even want to promote their stuff anymore. Like,
yeah.
It's so heartbreaking because this game is like everything I've seen. I've never been more excited for a Persona game.
I know. I'm so excited to play it.
As soon as the stream's done, my copy's here. I'm playing it. That's what I'm doing. And right after this.
Yeah, man.
Mine hasn't shown up yet.
Sorry.
I'm just gonna download it.
You live in LA.
I know.
Traffic doesn't work there. You can't drive things to places.
It's a collector's edition.
We need drones.
Live in a better place.
Where is it?
All right, let's move on, shall we? So, controversy of a different kind. So, Yooka Laylee reviews came out, and they are all over the place. This is a game that is considered the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie. Some of the original dev team on it. Very successful Kickstarters. One of the most successful video game Kickstarters ever. It raised a grand total of £2 million, which before Brexit would have been about $3.5 million. Now it's about $350. And
wait, what?
Yep, that sounds right.
Wait, what?
I've done the math in my head.
Wait, what?
$3.50 is what it's worth now.
Wait, what?
And it's a very mixed reviews. Some people love it, some people don't. It's all over the board right now. And of course, that's caused a lot of foot stomping, and our perennial favorite decided to be the one who gave it the lowest score. Jim Sterling gave it a 2 out of 10.
Damn,
a 2! Holy shit.
2.
He's not actually the only one that gave it that lower score, by the way. Laura Kate, who has also been on our show a couple of times, she gave it 35%. It's got a lot of, and I hate scores, but it's just easier to refer it this way, 2.5 stars. There's a couple of 4 out of 10s, 55%.
Are there good scores?
Yes. Yeah, there are.
They're pretty good scores too.
Yeah. And there seems to be a big division on this one from what I can tell. And it probably comes down to if you really enjoyed the Banjo-Kazooie and sort of old Spyro-style platformers, and especially if you played them recently and still enjoyed them, despite their age,
Grandor.
Yeah, you'll probably love this because it's that 3D collectathon platformer, warts and all, supposedly. That is something that is consistent across all these reviews, having, actually read a lot of them as opposed to just looking at dumb scores.
Is in chat right now and says, from what I've played so far, I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
Even the good reviews are like saying there are camera problems and outdated mechanics and level design. That it's archaic in many ways. It's a throwback to.
Could you argue that that's what people asked for?
Well, and I think that's the problem, is that the Kickstarter, all of it is based off the nostalgia of like, I'm gonna get the game that I love back, and I know that that also goes into reviews where you have reviews that are like, this is the tits and it's the best, and that's because they're still riding that wave, and then the other people are like, this isn't the nostalgia I remember, and I like this is different, and I hate.
And
that's
of course,
what happens
you
mess
can't
with that world.
You can't take these games in a vacuum.
Right,
you can say this game's a nostalgia fest. It's still 2017, and that game is going to get judged by modern standards to some extent, whether you like it or not. Which is why, if you love the game, do not give any fucks about a review. Like, if this is your jam, if you're a Crendor of the world and you're like, this is my shit, then why do you even, like, the amount of people who are like, I love it, I don't get what, fuck them. If you're having a fun time, fuck them. What do you care? Like, I will never understand that. Like, if you're in, that's me in Dynasty Warriors. Every Dynasty Warriors game is the same fucking game, yet I'm like, 8's coming out. Oh shit. I don't care. I think it's fun. So don't stress.
Give me that Lubu. Give me that Lubu butt.
It's not even worth it. People are losing their mind. Like, so Jim Sterling didn't like the game that you like. Oh well.
Yeah, would hardly be the only one. Most people just, again, losing their mind over scores. I gave you the tolerant olive branch approach a couple of weeks ago on this one about Zelda. Now I'm going to give you the slap in the face reality approach. You are fucking stupid if you obsess over scores. You are the dumbest. Yeah. The dumbest person that exists. I don't even know how you get out of bed in the morning and function on a daily basis. You're actually committing serious parts of your life and parts of your identity to a made-up number! A made-up, inconsistent number that is in no way comparable across review sites. There is no consistent scale. There is no objectivity of any description in review scores. Ever. They're not even consistent on the same site, let alone cross sites, and no Metacritic does not solve that damn problem. As we've said time and time again, it's a fucking made-up number. What use is that to you when buying a game, when deciding what game to buy and not to buy? It's not. It's like, oh, well, it's a 6. Guess I can't buy that one then. Are you out of your mind?
Jim Sterling will punch you if you buy Yooka Laylee on your way back from the shop.
He's hiding behind the counter.
I hear he does that.
Yes. He does that. Very violent.
He's going to come to your house, brick through the window. Guaranteed.
Wow. He just has a pile of bricks that he just carries with him wherever he goes.
Big hoard over his shoulder.
They're all signed, though.
He's like signed all of them. Bricks. Yeah, he signs them all, but then he chucks them at you. Yeah. Good guy.
The only time you should care if Jim Sterling likes a game or not, other than, you're evaluating a purchase, if you like it and he doesn't, that's a problem if you're going to invite him around your house to play it with him.
Pretty much.
It doesn't matter.
It's like, hey, would you like to play ukulele with me? No, because I don't like it. Okay, then. Goes on with your day.
What?
God. I mean, this has been going on ever since reviews were bloody invented.
Of course.
I remember an outcry for a game called Delta on the Commodore 64. This must be like 1985.
Yeah.
People writing into the magazine, you only gave this 8 out of 10. This is clearly a 9 out of 10. Really good game. You're playing it. You're enjoying it. Don't worry about it. Don't write to the magazine.
When anyone ever says something as dumb as, this game is objectively at least A, I want to just hit them. You don't even understand what objectivity means. And it has no place in this discussion. Beyond things, technical aspects that can be objectively judged, everything else is going to be driven entirely by opinion. And the point is you explain the opinion. You don't just say this is bad and then don't say why. What use is that? Most people don't know how to criticize anyway. But that's the value that you will find out of these. If you trust somebody, you should be assuming that they're acting in good faith and not lying to you. If you don't trust them, why the hell are you caring about their opinion anyway? Read the damn reviews, find out what it is. Is there a deal breaker in there for you? If there are camera issues, I wouldn't have bought this game anyway because I'm not into 3D platformers. It would have to be something magnificent to convince me otherwise. So I'm not even going to look at it. But if I were, issues like camera controls, which are widespread issues across most of these reviews, they mention camera a lot, which of course is also tied into controls. You can't separate the two. They're both very much intrinsically linked. That would be a problem. That could be a deal breaker for me. Absolutely. That could make the game very frustrating. The fact that it is a very old school collectathon and tends to lean towards that side in terms of level design, mechanics, pacing. Those are all things that to me would be deal breakers, but for people who are into that sort of thing, and especially, as I said, recently have played old Spyro and old Banjo-Kazooie and liked them, warts and all, that's a good thing for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a selling point.
Is there a word or phrase in a review that really puts you off the end product if you see it in more than one review? Is there like a word or phrase which is like a huge red flag?
30 frames per second.
Open world.
Yeah, I would go for open worlds generally for myself. Yeah.
Even when I see...
Oh, wait, no. I have a better one. Procedurally generated.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one that makes me go...
Yeah.
For a roguelike, I can do that, or a roguelite. But yeah,
I
boring,
think when I see an hour count that's very high, like approaching the triple figures, that actually would be a put off for me a lot of the time because I think this game is full of filler.
I think like that when everybody says, "Oh, there's a really great new American TV series you should watch." Oh, brilliant! There's 912 episodes. I don't have time to catch up, and especially because a load of those are going to be filler. Oh yeah, but by season 4, it's getting great. Well, I don't have the time to get that far, Yeah,
and of course, it's not going to be a universal truth. Like, not every long game is full of filler. Some of them are very, very good and actually manage to fill that stuff full of worthwhile content. But again, that's all subjectively focused as well. We had the Mad Max discussion several times, in fact, where a lot of consumers really loved Mad Max. Open world game, driving around, lots of activities to do. But a lot of critics didn't like it because they thought those activities were busy work. So it's down to whether or not you think those activities are busy work.
Yep.
We're preaching to the choir here, but if there even are a few of you in the audience that think it's okay or get mad at reviewers for this sort of thing, the only reason you should ever get mad at a reviewer is because they have lied to you. That doesn't mean they didn't say exactly what you thought. They're biased, and so are you. Everyone's biased. But if they legitimately flat out lied to you, maliciously, yes, be mad at them for that. That's the only good reason. And still don't threaten to kill them. There's no good reason for that. And don't DDoS their fucking website, idiots. Not that I expect anyone in our audience to do that. No. It's not... The consensus can be useful for consumers, but if anything, there's still a bunch of responsibility that you as a consumer have to properly research what you're going into. Like, I understand if it's just like something... If it's free, if someone on Netflix and you want to know how to spend the next hour or whatever, sure, you might quickly browse through, and if something has 1 star out of 5, you might ignore it. But if you're going to spend any serious amount of money on anything, you should do your goddamn research. And don't assume that the consensus is going to go the same way. On the plane over to Seattle, I watched Passengers. It's got a Rotten Tomatoes score of 35%. And I loved it.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Because
Chris Pratt
and what's-her-face that everybody loves. Oh, I'm terrible with names. Jennifer Lawrence, yes. Yeah.
I was going to say, it's Jennifer something.
Yes,
everyone shit on that movie. It's not bad. Like, the reviews are like, that's a terrible movie. It's okay.
I mean, I have legendarily bad taste in movies, and movies are so subjective, like, compared to games, I think. Like, way more subjective. Like, there's games that are flat out broken. I've never watched a broken movie. But it's...
I'm sure they
exist.
But... Yes. Where is this scene gone? Who is this character? Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed Passengers. Visually amazing, no doubt about it. And really interesting moral quandaries going on, and I felt just a bit like uneasy by the end of it, which I think was exactly the point. But
yeah,
I don't,
absolutely.
I don't want to spoil it. But people are like, well, it's cliched and boring. Yeah, but there's another subjective thing. Because if you watch a ton of movies, you might start to identify those cliches and tropes more than someone who watches less of them. And of course, everyone has a greater or lesser tolerance to such things. So for some people, certain tropes are deal breakers. For some people, certain tropes are selling points.
Which translates exactly into what we've talked about before on this show a million times, which is like our opinions are going to be very different from a normal consumer's opinion.
Yes.
Because we play so many fucking games. It's our job, right?
Yeah.
So like the way that we respond to something like if I read a review that says open world, I'm going to be like,
oh,
but
not again. Yeah.
another open world game, right? Because, but it's not the way that a typical consumer is probably going to react. We're different.
Look, all you need to know is the best example of two completely different opinions on something is when we saw The Great Wall. And after that movie was over, we were like, what the fuck? And this dude in the front row was like,
Oh my God, a dude literally stood and clapped.
Yeah.
And we were like,
we couldn't believe it. He was so blown away by it. That's all you need to know.
So happy it was over. Yes, I'm going to watch this anymore. Yes.
no, he was hooting and hollering through the whole
We were in the
fucking thing,
same
dude.
theater and had two different experiences. That's all I'm saying is that's life.
And here's the thing, you want to be that guy. I know some people,
Yeah,
and
yes.
this increasing, maybe I think it's just an online vocal minority culture of, oh, look at me, I'm a nihilist. Like, you don't even know what that fucking means. Like, it's like, not. I've got to come up with some clever little word for that.
The Kefkas of the world,
Something
they're all
like that.
Kefkas.
I'll come up with something clever for next episode, I promise. But
Okay.
it's like, yeah,
I'll
you
hold
know,
you to that.
you're the margarine of nihilism. You're the Diet Coke of nihilism. You know, you
The
don't
margarine?
even...
Oh, so British.
The you what butter? Of,
Yeah.
What, not butter?
I can't believe
What?
butter.
What?
Yeah,
Not
I
butter?
can't
What
believe-
not butter?
You can find that in an Aldi in the UK.
I always think of that every single
What, not
time
butter?
I
Yeah.
see I can't believe it's not butter in the store. I think of what butter?
Yeah, all the different spin-offs of that. As like the skeptic community, as if you should be part of a community for not taking everything at face value. Everybody should be skeptical, but don't allow skepticism to override. The amusing thing is, you go too far the other direction. It's like, I'm such a skeptic that I don't believe anything. Well, then your rationality's gone out the window. So you defeat the point of being a skeptic.
Yeah, real talk. Real skeptics exist in the world of I want to believe, prove to me that it's real. Like that's what that's about. Like I want to think this game's gonna be awesome.
I have an open
Prove to me
mind.
that it is. Yeah, that's totally different than like fuck it, that's not real. Or I
Yeah.
hate that. Like that's just being a dick.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
I have an open mind, but the door is closed, and you have to knock to enter.
Absolutely.
Is what is being that's what a skeptic is.
That's a beautiful image.
Skeptics, Jesus.
And then you'll knock literally forever because I don't answer the door.
No.
So
And then you're a dick. See how that works? See how?
Yeah. Oh my. Yes, that's that. Anything else? Any small little topics we want to throw out before the releases that anybody had? They noticed going on?
No.
I think we hit most of them on the head. That seems to
Yeah,
be
man.
the big thing. And we already mentioned the whole Mass Effect Andromeda patch that's coming, so that is a thing. Good. I'm glad they're fixing that. Whatever that. Is a brief thing that I know, Jesse, you'll love. They just patched Sins of a Solar Empire again. The anniversary update.
Oh my god! Yeah,
And
I didn't see that.
their part of the update is designed to make modding better. They took away the memory limit and they put a bunch of optimizations on the engine to let you make bigger and crazier mods. So they want that
update
game to live
fucking
forever.
Star Wars mod,
Yeah.
guys.
Give it.
Oh, it's
Give it
so
the last two
good.
factions. Yes, Thrawn's Revenge 2. So very, very good. Update the
I'll
Star
still
Trek
play that.
mod. Yeah, it's great. Yep. Anniversary update for Sins of a Solar Empire Rebellion. Increased
is, in
texture
fact-
quality, stability, performance, everything. Great.
It is in fact right now the first thing when I go to Steam that pops up on the top little like featured and recommended. Sins
Yeah.
of Solar Empire.
Man, they put a screenshot of the Star Wars mod in their official thread, which is that's gutsy. I think you're glad Disney isn't so litigious about those sort of things. You might want to be careful there if you're selling it off the back of a Star Wars mod. Ooh. Oh yeah, and Mad Catz went bankrupt.
Oh God,
Oh,
yes.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Bloody hell, yeah.
man. The player twos of the world having the shitty controllers are gonna be sad forever.
And you know, that's a weird historical thing, isn't it? Because I never, right now, anyway, you know, over the last 5 years, I've not thought of Mad Catz that way because they've been the guys behind the big tournament controllers and the high-end
they've been
esports
great
stuff.
recently.
Yeah.
But like, pretty much, I stole that joke from every fucking person out there who made a Mad Catz article.
Of course,
They're all
yeah.
like, I remember playing with my actual controller
There you go.
and then giving
I
my
own one of
Mad
those
Catz
too.
controller to my little brother. Rest in peace, Mad Catz. It's like,
Yeah.
what?
The Mad Catz controllers used to be absolutely terrible, but they were bought by Cytec in 2007, and I think it was at that point they then were sold to Logitech, weirdly enough, after losing some value, and it's at that point that they started making the pro stuff, the esports related stuff, the high-end fight sticks and controllers and such. I would love to know, what happened. There'll no doubt be an analysis of it somewhere. Apparently they've been having financial problems for a while, but what was the cause of that? Did they focus too much on that
It's
niche
a worry
market?
that they've gone bust as they went into the period of making good things. You know, when they were making the shitey, transparent controllers you would give to player 2, they what didn't go bust? I don't know.
I think from what I was reading, the people that worked there over the last year were saying pretty much everything that they put out was a rehash. Like they would take something that they had already built and then add like something small to it and then resell it for the most part. So that was like they were experiencing money troubles for a long time.
Someone just pointed out in chat something I did not know about. Mad Catz had a co-publishing deal with Harmonix for Rock Band 4, and they lost 11 million on it. Because Rock Band 4... Yeah.
Oh my.
Bear in mind, the company was only sold to Logitech for, I think, 13 million. So they lost... Yeah, they had a massive downturn... And it was because of Rock Band 4. They had a $4.7 million profit one year and then went down to a $12 million loss in fiscal 2016.
Damn.
Man, that sucks.
Yeah, so Rock Band 4 fucked them really badly. And there's also some people that were saying they got into the niche market, but they weren't niche enough. Like, they were producing expensive peripherals, but at that kind of boutique level, at the highest level, companies were kicking their ass. Hori was making better stuff than they were. You were getting genuine Japanese parts, arcade parts, and all sorts of things. There was a huge Quamba, another company. Even Razer made a good fight stick and stuff like that. And of course, good, pro controllers. And Microsoft comes along with their Elite controller and things like that. So they basically were competing in a market where they couldn't keep up, and they took a huge financial hit, and that was it, apparently.
Holy shit.
Mm.
Well, that explains that.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I still have my MLG Mad Catz fight stick, although I have to say I kind of traded it in for the hitbox. It's because I found that to be just an easier thing to use, but it was a nice fight stick. Nothing really wrong with it. I owned a Hori Real Arcade 3 as well at some point. That was also good, but, well, I guess there just wasn't enough room in the market. It's getting very saturated. A lot of people making these higher level pro controllers.
Yeah.
It always seems odd to me that the official controllers for the consoles were always the best ones. I mean, the home computers, the 80s, you never wanted the one that was made by the computer.
No.
Right. The Sinclair SJS1 joysticks that would literally break within an hour of new, and you'd have to go off and buy, your quick shot or whatever.
Atari 2600 joysticks were just disgusting.
Oh my god, they would survive a nuclear explosion, but you would never be able to control properly with them from new.
Yeah. I had a quick shot joystick for the BBC Micro that ended up being awful. The amount of wrist strength required to even move it, it would creak as you did it.
Yes.
Ah. But you are right, default controllers for the most part are the way to go. Although I bought a Razer Onza, I think, because I hated the D-pad on the 360 controller, and the Razer Onza had a much better one. They actually did a quadrant split that was 4 separate buttons that was far better. So every now and again, there's something with those controllers that I want fixed, and I'll buy a third-party version. But for the most part, yeah, that is the way to go.
There was a period of about 6 or 7 years where it seemed like console makers forgot how to make joypads properly. Everything came out with something dreadful on.
Yeah, but they're a lot better now. Yeah, the Xbox One pad is great, and PS4 one's good too. Right, well, I think that wraps up the news. A lot of sad stuff. God, as long as you're not Mad Catz or Yooka Laylee, you're probably fine right now, so you do all right. I'm sure we'll
Cool.
hear about it next week. We'll bring Crendo on the show next week. He will put up a valiant, spirited defense of Yooka Laylee.
I have a code too, so I'll take the time to play it so that we can talk about it.
That will be interesting. All right, let's move on to
shall
releases.
we do
Sean.
releases?
Indeed. Dodger is responsible for the culling this week.
Yay!
We have removed some.
All right, so April 4th, or today, we have Invicta Beam, which is a game where it seems like there are like a few different cartridges that you have to play through that all represent like different types of games.
Okay.
It looks cool. I'm not.
It
even gonna
does.
lie.
It looks cool to me.
Yeah, I'm always a little skeptical of games that try to do the whole multi-genre thing, because of course, they're going to be a jack of all trades and master of none most of the time.
Right.
But yeah, this whole idea of, you're playing these different cartridges from your childhood and different modernized versions of games is neat. It's gimmicky. It's been done before with the Evoland series, but yeah, I would check this out. This is very interesting.
The next game is called Sweet Fantasy.
This is it.
What have you done?
This is it.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
It's a visual novel where you play a little nymph named Pumpkin and you fall in love with Mrs. Amethyst.
Sure you do.
Can we just
lost?
ignore all of that and just accept the fact that screenshot 3
Oh my
is
God.
her asking a snail. The snail has a little mustache and he's like, ew, yeah. I want to play this game.
What really depresses me is that it looks like they put some serious work into the art of this thing, and it's like, well, a lot of this is pervy as hell, and very kind of anime kawaii stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, there's so much of this stuff coming out on Steam right now. But I see why you left this in, because the art is good.
It
That's
is.
great.
I mean, it looks good. It looks like they put some work into it, which is more I can say for a lot of these visual novels. But
The next one is called Serious Sam VR: The Second Encounter.
indeed.
There's a sequel already.
Yeah,
What?
it's a Stuba, I believe.
Yep.
Actually, is it? Yes, no, maybe, because
I'm pretty positive.
they've done this. So this is a VR version of Serious Sam, but it's not a Stupa. It's
not.
It's a VR conversion of the full first-person shooter, I believe. Which is like, that's probably vomit-inducing for some people. But then there was Serious Sam, was it The Last Stand? I think? Yeah, The Last Hope, yes. Serious Sam, The Last Hope was the one where you stood on a platform and shoot stuff. But this is their third VR game in like the course of a year.
Jesus.
Yeah, they are converting it. I am intrigued to see whether it works. I mean, it's all cool dual-wield stuff. You can dual-wield 2 different weapons. You can even cross them over, which seems super cool, but I can't imagine this not making me really sick,
Super
considering
cool.
considering how fast you move. Good God.
Yeah, that's a nice concept. But the motion sickness thing of that is going to be lethal, isn't it? I
Yeah.
can't see how they're going to get around that at all. But
Well, some people suffer from it and some don't. Apparently, there's also different locomotion mechanics, so you can do the teleport thing, which apparently fixes it for a lot of people. But if you want full motion and you can tolerate that, because some people can, then you can do it.
The next game is called Brawl Out, which I guess would be like a Smash-like. To pull from our knowledge of today.
Yeah, competitive platform fighter, I think they're calling this. This is more of a 3D rendered one. It's still 2D, but of course we had Rivals of Ether last week. This sort of came out of nowhere. I haven't seen this one anywhere up until this point. It looks good. Like, the art looks great. The animations look really smooth. But I don't have a lot of knowledge of Smash Brothers in general, so I couldn't really tell you how good this is.
The next one is called Hop Along the Badlands. I left this in because it looks goofy as fuck. It's like you fighting other cowboys, but
Oh my God.
yeah.
So it's a VR cowboy game where you ride a stick toy horse.
Yeah. It looks like everything is maybe supposed to be like toy
Toys.
cowboys.
Yeah, you ride. You use that with one hand and then you shoot with the other. And do you have to do this? Do you have to do that? Because if you have to do that, my God. Yeah, there's a unique locomotion system. You're not kidding on that one, Jesus.
The game after that is called Use Your Words. It
Yeah.
is coming out on Steam as well as PS4 today.
I believe this was
And-
co-developed by a YouTuber and streamer because they're aiming this very much so at the Jackbox Party Pack market.
Right.
It looks
that would
like
make
it, yeah.
sense. It looks very goofy.
Yeah, it's one of those comedy social games where you use your smartphone as an input device. So you can do it around television, or you can do the whole streaming thing, video conferencing thing that Jackbox has done. It allows
Yeah.
spectators, just like Jackbox, bunch of different words and different games. What's interesting is that this game actually, it's got a subtitle game where it's got old footage of, I assume, public domain movies, and you take it in turns to subtitle different scenes for comedy value. That looks super cool.
I used to do that on Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. So it's a bit more of a, well, I don't know. I mean, Jackbox has a lot of the whole social gaming aspect to it as well. So, but it looks cool. I'm glad. I'm always glad for more games like that.
The next game is another visual novel, but it's beautiful. Like the art looks really, really nice in it. It's called
Looks like
Nightshade.
Fire Emblem style art.
Yeah. It's also like a period piece, so it's got like dope clothes and shit.
Yeah, Sengoku period apparently regarding a romance of ninjas. Of course, it's actually came out last year on PlayStation Vita because the Vita is only for visual novels now. Apparently, that's pretty much the only
Can
kind of game.
confirm.
Yeah, I mean, they're still doing pretty well. It's a great machine if you like those kind of things. Yeah, you're right. You know, there's a lot of work put into this art, but again, you know, another visual novel. One of the things that during the visit to Valve, Valve had no idea that visual novels would be anywhere near as popular as they are on Steam, and apparently that's one of the reasons that they claim they don't want to curate, because they say if they had, they probably wouldn't have let any of them on Steam. Because they were thinking, then these won't sell, and especially with the more porny aspects that some of them have, they were like, this is not worth the risk. But yeah, they admitted they were wrong on that one, so.
The next one, which looks super cool, is called The Signal from Tolva. It's a first-person shooter where you get robots to become like your friends and follow you around.
Wait, big robot. Where have I heard, who's Big Robot? Oh! It was the...
Oh, sir, you were being hunted. Is that
Yeah, Sir, You Are Being Hunted.
Oh shit, yeah.
It's an interesting concept, not that well executed. This one looks far more polished, though. This looks really interesting. But yeah, you unlock savage weapons, whatever that means. There's rival factions. That's my jam, by the way. I love faction manipulation and stuff like that. Recruit robots to fight alongside you. This looks sick. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna look at this one.
Yeah, me too. One after that is called Lego City Undercover. It's a Lego game.
Yeah,
So-
it wasn't that. It's a Wii U port, isn't it? Like it used to be a Wii
Yeah.
U exclusive.
Yeah, it was bundled with it for a while, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I like the Lego games. I like that sense of humor anyway. I just don't like playing them because they're all quite simple. I love watching the cutscenes though, because they're all extremely funny.
I don't know about Undercover. Does it feel any different to the standard, you know, we're adapting a film and you run around and collect brick stuff? Is it any different?
Basically, Undercover's supposed to be Lego GTA. That's my understanding of it.
Oh, so far more open world.
Yeah. Obviously, you know, kid friendly, but yeah, less of it's an original IP as opposed to them taking an existing one.
And I believe Peter Serafinowicz did some of the voices. Trivia.
Cool. By the way, there's a Lego Star Wars. It's direct to DVD, but still, there's a Lego Star Wars movie coming out.
Yeah.
That could be amazing or terrible. Hopefully, amazing.
I thought they'd already done a few, like the, I don't know, the Yoda Adventures or the Empire Strikes Out or something like that.
Possibly.
Empire Strikes
Maybe
Out.
I'm just not paying
Seriously, I think
attention
that is
to
actually a thing.
Disney's direct to DVD efforts. Yeah, you might be entirely right on that one.
The next game in the list is called Edengrad. I like the concept of it. Apparently it has mixed reviews so far, but it's
an early access MMO. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an early access MMO where you set up like a town and you try to become like a major trading port.
Looks like it's a post-apocalyptic thing by
Yeah.
the looks of it, right? That's ambitious. And
Here's all I will say. I was like, I need to see why there are mixed reviews. Every review's like, it's 10 FPS.
oh, it
So-
just runs like crap. Yeah, that would be a
Yeah.
good reason not to touch it. Yeah, I don't know how they got the trailer running better than that. Yeah, it seems like it's got some. It's got PvP in it, some crafting elements. like I always, I'm always thinking, is this really an MMO when I hear about it now? Because a lot of survival games have started to call themselves MMOs. And this looks like it's more of a survival game than that, but it does claim it has questing and PvE elements and stuff. I think I'll wait till this gets full release, thank you. I have no intention of being a beta tester for this.
Yeah, no joke. The game after that is called...
That looks like a lot of other games, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
It really does.
The next game is called Survivalism with a Z.
The Animal Simulator.
Yeah, you become an animal in the forest and you have to survive and find a mate and grow your herd. And
it's not as good as Tokyo Jungle, and it never will be. Let's be totally honest.
Right? For real. Tokyo Jungle is A+.
Can't murder everyone as a Shiba Inu.
After that, Persona 5, which we've already talked about.
Yep.
Drawn to Death came out on PS4 today.
Yeah,
which,
David Jaff's new thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I played that a while back at a convention. It was pretty fun.
Whatever the hell it is. Why do I keep forgetting the name of that damn game? Twisted Metal, yes.
The game after that is called Arma Gallant Decks of Destiny. That's coming out for PS4 as well.
It looks like a MOBA crossed with a card game. I can't figure out what's happening right now.
Let me have a look at it. This is my wheelhouse. If I can actually... I can't even find the game on Steam right now because of the spelling of it.
It is not. It's a PS4 game.
Oh, okay. Well, I have no chance of finding it then. All right, hang on a minute. Arma Gallant. Ah, there we go.
I'm looking at this video, and it's interesting as hell. I dig it. I just can't figure out what's going on.
Deck building, real-time strategy. I'm looking for video footage of the damn thing just to figure out what it is. Art style's nice. I'll give it that.
I'll throw it in chat over here.
There's a launch trailer for it.
That doesn't help. What the fuck?
Did it not? Oh, yeah. I need to see
there
gameplay.
You go. Right there. There's a video.
Hey, wait a minute. Is this fucking... Battle... What was the name of it? The thing that was like this that EA shut down. Battle Forge. Is this Battle Forge? Possibly. Yeah, this is Battle Forge. Yeah, this is Battle Forge, basically. Yeah, it's collectible RTS. Basically, the units that you have are in a deck, and you deploy them, and you move them around and do real-time strategy things with them.
Interesting.
Looks pretty cool, actually. I hope they bring this to PC, because fuck playing that with a controller.
Yeah, absolutely.
No way.
Battle Forge, the one where it had the eye toy, and not the eye
no,
toy,
that was something of the Eye of Judgment was the name of that one.
That was it.
Super unique, really cool game. Love that.
Yep.
What a great idea. Sad that it never really kept going.
Next up is called Blackwood Crossing for PS4. This looks like a kind of cool adventure game that probably Jesse and I would both be super into.
Just looking at the reveal trailer here. Yeah, it doesn't really show any gameplay whatsoever. But yeah, it definitely is one of those more cinematic, but some crazy, creepy horror stuff going on there as well. Even
what is going on in this?
Yeah, that looks
cool.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm hoping that comes to PC as well. Hopefully that's not an exclusive. It's got some really nice visuals going on with it, and some crazy, creepy, freaky stuff as well.
Yeah,
lovely.
April 5th, we have Roots of Insanity, which I debated keeping on here or not. It's a walk around a dark place and shit tries to kill you.
In the Unreal 4 engine, because it always bloody is these days. They make so many of these fucking things. It's hard to know what of them is good and what isn't.
Yeah. After that, Shovel Knight Spectre of Torment, which I know a lot of people are looking forward to. April 6th, we have Commissar, Kommissar.
What is that all about then?
You know what? It looks very Papers, Please to me. So
a political
I was like,
prosecution simulator in a totalitarian regime. I mean, it is. It's a Papers, Please procedural kind of thing. If this is good, I really hope it is. Unfortunately, it's an early access game, which makes me think it might not be. Very Papers, Please-esque, yeah. Some games have tried to do this and fail. I remember Westport Independent being a huge disappointment in that regard, which is the one where you had to run a newspaper under a totalitarian regime.
Right. The game after this made me laugh. This game made me laugh when I was going through. It's called Catch a Lover. It's a multiplayer game where one of you plays a husband and the other one plays the wife's lover, and you're trying to catch them.
That's a question. It says 2 to 4 players.
I assume because there's a police officer in one of the promo pictures. So I'm like, okay, if there's 4.
It has a playable dog. The dog is playable in this game.
Oh my god, the whole family is after this guy. The
Yeah.
dog, the police officer. It's so silly.
Wait, the
I love
beautiful. Most of this is just the dog doing things like drinking water and peeing on the carpet. This game is bonkers. What is this?
Okay, here's the characters. The husband's goal is to find the lover, punish him if he can. He can punch, he can take small objects and throw them. The dog's goal is to help the husband. He can't open doors, but he can make traps for the lover. If he finds the lover's clothes, he can track the lover. He can bark and bite. The lover's goal, find his clothes and escape the house. He has inventory and health. He can make traps for the husband. He can dive from falling. And the wife's goal is to prevent the husband from finding the lover. So beware the husband punches and it's very painful. God damn it. Help lover find his clothes. Clean up where the dog was.
That is an amazing concept for a game. Wow. Probably won't be well implemented, but holy hell, the originality of that.
Yeah, that sounds really fun.
Oh my god.
Wow. Okay. I mean, again, probably will suck, but hell, if they make that work, that could be a really fun multiplayer game.
The font alone tells me it's going to suck, but
probably.
boy, is it fun looking.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
All right, the next game is called Embers of Magic. It's another really short visual novel, but the art style of it looks awesome.
It's really different and weird, yeah.
Yeah, very unusual. At least we're moving away. It's still kind of big eyes on the characters, but less of the anime kawaii nonsense. It's apparently free as well, so just a short free experience.
Yeah.
The next game is Shardbound, which I've played a lot of. That game is coming to early access, so I'm excited for them. They hit their Kickstarter goal.
A card-based, hex-based tactics game, obviously sort of stepping onto Faria's turf. That yak gonna get you if you're not careful. He's watching you. He's been back there this entire time. But what isn't this by some of the guys that made the ill-fated Dawngate?
The exact same team.
All right.
But on their own now, without EA.
Cool.
So,
nice.
Graphically, that looks very, very similar to Chaos Reborn.
You are absolutely right on that one, actually, yeah. Which I never got around to playing the full version of. I played a prototype back in the day, but I never got around to it. I really need to.
Cool. After that is Boros. It's a really weird-looking puzzle game.
2D puzzle action.
Like, looking at it, I have no idea how this is played. So...
it's a Zuma/Luxor clone, okay, yeah. So it's sort of like, you've got to rotate the various colored balls and match them up in an increasingly large string, and obviously it's called out Boros because it's the reference to the Ouroboros, the kind of infinite snake eating its own tail kind of thing.
Yep.
Next up is for Nintendo Switch. So it won't be on Steam.
That's disappointing.
It's called Graceful Explosion Machine. It's like a little colorful shooter game.
I'm disappointed we don't have a game that name on the PC, even if it is just a shooter. Never mind. And then you have, Animal Gods on the Wii U?
Animal Gods, yeah, that's a port, I'm pretty sure.
Right,
yeah,
okay.
That's already on Steam.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
So there's actually a new Wii U game coming out. I thought Zelda was going to be the final one.
Apparently not.
Right.
I don't think this is going to shift many systems, but I don't actually, it does have some... It's aesthetically, it's quite nice. I don't know about the gameplay, though.
Next up for April 7th is From Shadows.
From Shadows. What's going on with this one, then? What is it?
It's a side-scrolling game where you fight shit.
Oh,
it reminds me a lot of Castlevania. So
right. It's a side-scrolling action platformer with co-op.
Castlevania 2 in particular, yeah.
Combat-focused action platformer by the looks of it. Everything's hand-drawn in 5K resolution, they claim. So a lot of interesting detail.
Next up is Steampunk Syndicate. It's a tower defense game.
Oh yeah, this one.
The tower defense.
It's a tower defense with a little bit of CCG in there for good measure. I love the aesthetic of it.
Yep.
That's cool. I mean, it would have to do something special to get me interested in another tower defense game, but the visuals in particular. Are you getting a bit of an Advance Wars vibe from some of these visuals?
You
Loving
can even build, like, you can construct shit.
Oh, cool. You can actually build custom towers to deploy. All right, I'm in. All right, you got me in.
Yeah, that's cool. All right.
Next up is called Galactic Keep. The whole art style of it looks like it's trying to mimic like a hand-drawn tabletop game. It just looks kind of cool to me.
Oh, is this the one that was on iOS and took like 10 years to develop? I think it might be.
Maybe?
I heard about this so goddamn long ago. It's full of tons of content. It was, I think, one of the original crazy iOS ideas that was a big genre blender and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is it. Oh, cool. Well, I mean, I'm glad it's on PC. I might give it a try now.
Yeah. Next up is called Missile Cards. It's a turn-based defense game
Okay.
where you have like cards that represent different types of missiles that you
Oh,
can launch.
It's a card game crossed with Missile Command. That's neat. That is kind of cool.
The game after that is called Slime San.
Oh, Slime San, yes. I've heard
It's
about this
actually
a little bit.
really fun game. It's super silly. It reminds me of like an old Game Boy game, like an old school Game Boy game.
Right.
It's so good. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a puzzle platformer-esque kind of thing with a retro theme to it.
Yep.
Gotcha. The next one is Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition.
Ah, yes, the remake, as it were. Full clip magazine. I don't use clips.
Full
not-
clip. I got a full clip, guys.
Fucking Garen. I mean, Bulletstorm's a great game, and the older PC version had a lot of problems. If they fix those problems, great. That's a reason for me to do another playthrough of Bulletstorm, because Bulletstorm was fucking awesome and deserved way better than it got.
Is it as good as Serious Sam and Painkiller?
I'd say it's better. Maybe not Painkiller, but better than Serious Sam, because a lot of it wasn't just mindless shooting. It was a lot of trick shot stuff, and a lot of that was very funny, very cool to do. You kick someone into a cactus, you got 100 points, and it was called a pricked kill. Stuff like that, very juvenile, but it has some amazing sequences. The fucking robot, the remote controlled robot giant dinosaur level is legendary. It is incredible. You've never played anything quite like it. So please give it a try. It's quite the thing.
Going on to April 8th, we have Forestry.
Forestry.
And
Right.
yeah, it's a VR game.
Okay.
That's it feels kind of like, I don't know, it feels kind of oddly Minecrafty. The
Really?
idea is that
Ah.
you come into the game, you cut down logs, and then like you have axes and you cut down logs. You can make a campfire or whatever.
Okay.
There's lakes, but you can use the wood from the logs to build things.
Yeah, it's like impress your friends by basically learning woodworking through this game. It builds stuff with it in VR. I
Yeah.
love the way that you control the axes is hilarious. You could dual wield them and you could chop away like a fucking super ninja with them and
Yeah.
build stuff. That's neat. I mean, I don't, it's a toy, I think, from what I can tell. But it seems like a pretty cool toy nonetheless.
Yeah. And then our final game on the 9th is Cluckle's Adventure, where you play a chicken with a little sword. It looks amazing.
Okay, all right. I see why you went for that. You were mentioning Game Boy games. This looks like a Game Boy Advance game.
Yeah.
Very much that aesthetic. It does look good. We have a lot of retro-inspired platformers. Most of them suck. We only really let the good ones get on the show these days because we don't want to waste your time. But yeah, this does look pretty cute and very competently
Yeah.
made. So
You're a little chicken
Good.
with a sword. Look at you. You're like dashing and killing shit.
good on them for that.
I love it.
Perfect. I'm in.
Yep.
Oh my God, you can get armor. You can be a chicken in armor.
Nice.
I need it. Anyways, that's it. That's all of our releases.
Cool. Yeah, the one thing we did miss out on, Flat Out 4 is on Steam right now. I'm very scared because Flat Out used to be amazing and then it got really bad and I don't know if this one's going to be any good. All I could say is I really fucking hope it is. I'll have a look at it. God, Flat Out used to be so good. Ugh. I'm so sad about that series. Please be a return to form. That would be great. Oh, all right. I think we're about done, folks. Thank you very much for watching the Co-optional podcast. Much appreciated. And of course, big thanks to our special guest today, Ashens, who has a highly successful YouTube channel and is, of course, currently working on a book. Tell us all about all of that.
Well, I'm glad you asked. Yeah. So a couple of years ago now, I released a book called Terrible Old Games You've Probably Never Heard Of, because I like short, snappy titles. And it's literally just a load of 8-bit games of such horrifying lack of quality you wouldn't believe. It was kind of a reaction to all the YouTube videos you see. It was like, worst game ever. And it's always like E.T. on the Atari 2600, which is terrible, but there's a lot worse.
There are worse. Yep.
Release things that don't work, that actually fail at actually being a playable game, and charged money for it. So I went delving into that incredibly frightening world and came up with a lot of nuggets of horror, which I stuck in the book. Did quite well. So I'm now writing a second one because I still have quite a lot of horrible stuff I unearthed, and I keep unearthing more. There's horrible little rabbit holes you can go down. For instance, I started looking at racing games on the Commodore 64.
Oh.
That is a computer that did not do well for racing games. It really didn't. I was playing one, I'll name drop it. There's a version of WEC Le Mans, the 24-hour race, which was a very good arcade game. Got half decent ports to the old 8-bit machines. The Commodore 64 version is unbelievable. There's no impression of going forward. Sometimes the road is going backwards. Things come on. It's just totally unplayable garbage. And it's not even the worst on the system by like a country mile.
There's
I won't spoil the worst I
much.
did discover, but it was...
Yeah, on that and on the BBC Micro, of course, had some terrible games. I recall playing a snooker game. I think it was Pete Davis's Championship Snooker. The BBC Micro couldn't render brown.
No, you had red rather than brown on the Micro, yep.
Yeah, so the brown ball was like, I think, green with a red spot in the middle.
Yes.
Because you couldn't render brown. There was some terrible stuff. Man, I'd love to write something for that. I got a big collection of terrible stuff back at home.
Warning, I may take you up on that.
That would be cool. Yeah, let's get in on it. I'm sure I can find something that would be suitable.
My people, by which I mean me, will contact your people, which are probably you.
Probably me. Yeah, let's just do that. Just save us a lot of time.
And that's how business is done, kids.
Indeed. Live on air. There we go. So keep an eye out for that. The title of the book is...
It is Attack of the Flickering Skeletons. More terrible old games you've probably never heard of.
There you go.
And you can back it now. It's going through Unbound, which is a publisher which is kind of half crowdfunding, half pre-order. It's an interesting system. But just search for Skeletons Unbound. And you'll either find a really, really horrifying pornographic film from the 70s or my book.
Yeah.
I was just seeing if that was the same. Probably isn't. There's my brother's girlfriend is a writer and has published a trilogy of books and used a similar kind of half crowdfund, half not publisher, I think, for their marketing, if I recall correctly. I don't think it's the same company, but yeah, it's interesting to hear about that. Cool. Yep. Check it out, and of course, check out his current book, which is available pretty much everywhere if you want to buy it.
Yeah, bookshops in the UK, Amazon, and all that kind of stuff.
Yep, terrible old games you probably have never heard of. The little square book that will not flush down the toilet.
No, that is a guarantee.
Yeah, it will not go down.
Flush guarantee.
No way.
It will damage your system and your house price.
It will. Don't try it. But at least you'll never lose it. You'll never accidentally lose it. Jesse, what you got coming up on the channel this week? What's going on?
Yo, more games, more fun, more silly stuff. I don't want to promote the channel. I want to promote my Snapchat. Hi, everybody. I believe...
What is wrong with you?
I believe firmly, epic_maneuver. That's where I shine. That's where I shine. Maneuver E before you guys. It's a beautiful place where for 10 seconds a day, I act real weird. So you should definitely go all follow that. Get on the Snapchat, kids. That's I have characters. I have a character named Gromit. He's got a big mouth. Doesn't matter. I love it. I love it. It's go there. YouTube's in the past. Snapchat, that's where it's at. That's where I'm gonna make my big bucks. I believe this team. I believe it.
I ain't loaning you any money later.
So
it ain't happening. Dodger, what's coming up on your channel this week? Or sorry, if you migrated entirely to Pinterest now.
Yeah, please follow my Pinterest at Epic Maneuver. I don't think they use ats on Pinterest. Okay. I do anime news. I do gaming news. I do a silly unboxing show with my fiance. I would love it if you would come and hang out at Press Start to Continue. I also stream almost every day at twitch.tv/dexterity bonus. And yeah, we just try to have a good time and chill. So if that sounds like your jam, then come follow me.
Awesome. Oh, I don't know
Can be
what's
found exclusively on Club Penguin these days.
yes,
So,
indeed. That is exclusive.
It's
is
the
word,
the
isn't it?
mobile Club Penguin because they shut down the original. So
my business.
If you invested in Club Penguin, you are in a lot of trouble right now.
I'll be fine. My Mad Cat shares will
They'll bounce back.
Yeah.
Oh dear. I mean, I'm sure I'll manage something this week if Persona doesn't waylay me, which is entirely possible. My copy's downstairs right now. I might not get anything done for a month. Wholly possible. But outside of that, if I do, I would love to do a video on Domina, but I ain't gonna do it until you fix that save problem. So, Mr. Developer-san, you are very talented, but if you do not fix that, you ain't getting coverage. So do it, please. Please add that. There's still a bunch of other stuff that I would love to look at, and I'm working on. I still want to try and get Beat Cup done, and there's a couple of things in that list that I'm interested in, including that tower defense game. I might have a little gander at that one. Outside of that, I occasionally stream every now and again. Outside of the Co-optional podcast, it's pretty much random. So just keep an eye on my Twitch account. Follow it. They'll email you when you go live. And, of course, follow my Twitter, because I'll tell you there as well. And I think that's pretty much about it. Yep, don't really have any plans at the moment. Which actually feels quite nice for a change. Maybe I'll even get Nia finished. We'll see. Don't know about that. Would be good, though. We're done. Thank you very much to our special guest, Mrs. Stuart Ashens. Go check out his channel if you want to see the unboxing of terrible plastic tat and the occasional consumption of things not safe for the human gullet. That, I don't know what that is, but
That was
don't...
a preview. That's a
there
Mexican
you go.
Thundercats knockoff in a Flintstones card.
Oh
because,
my god.
Yes.
I thought it was a really bad Wacky Racers toy there for a second.
It's the Arkansas Chuggabug with Panthro, because... Yes.
Incredible. Oh yeah, I do have one last thing to promote. I do a wrestling podcast, because fucking course I do. I do it on SoundCloud. Currently, the guest host is Paolo, aka Catz from the StarCraft 2 pro gaming scene. We're going to be having a couple of other guests, but we got our big hour-and-a-half long review of WrestleMania 2017 up yesterday. So if you have not listened to me blabber on enough about things that don't matter, there you go. Another hour-and-a-half of that over on soundcloud.com/TotalBiscuit. It doesn't have an RSS feed right now. We only use that for the co-optional podcast, but we might set one up if people actually bother to listen to it. So feel free to go out there and check that out if you are interested in wrestling for whatever reason. And even if you aren't, do go check out that SmackDown Women's match on WrestleMania so that you can see Becky Lynch cosplaying as Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn and throwing a very small man around, which was great and hilarious. So do that. Okay, folks, that's about it. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you most likely at the same time next week. Our guest will probably be Krendor, because I really want to hear him rant about Yooka Laylee, or rant about the people that don't like Yooka Laylee. One way or the other, we'll find something. We're done. Thanks a lot for watching, folks. We'll see you next time. Goodbye!